Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Shutterfly. If you're like us, you take a lot of pictures because you have a camera right in your hand all the time. How would you not take a lot of pictures? And we're taking all these pictures, more than we've ever taken in the history of the world.
What are you going to do with them all?
That's the thing. You used to get a solid picture, and then you'd look through them, and you could enjoy them. Now they're like back on your camera roll. You can't even find them. You don't want that. That's why the cool thing you need to do, and what I did, and I think it's pretty cool, is create a Shutterfly photo book.
Oh.
What I did, and you're going to enjoy this, Jimmy, because I haven't showed this to you yet, but took all of our pictures from being on tour this year.
Oh.
All live show pictures, us backstage, us on stage, doing all that stuff, and like some of the, just the venues and things, and made a little photo book out of that. Also, they have free 24-hour designer service as well. With their 24-hour designer service, a professional designer is going to lay out the book for you for free in just a day. Make something that means something with Shutterfly. Enjoy 40% off orders over $29 with promo code SMALLTOWN. See site for promotional details.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/Wondery.
This week, we look at the rural farm town of Rulo, Nebraska, where a group of people living on a farm took it upon themselves to create their own rules. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy, yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you so much for your quiet. And I'm Yay! I'm Jimmy Whisman. A different person came in and yayed. Thank you, folks, so much for joining us this week. We have a crazy episode. Before we get into the normal upfront stuff, have to tell you guys, normally our warnings, obviously it's murder, so it's always graphic. This is really, this one's bad. Yeah. So, it's brutal murder, and it's a pretty rough one. So buckle up for this.
I'm doing my best to be funny.
Crazy. This whole thing is nuts. Well, there's enough nuts around it. This is Phillips, Oklahoma. If it's on like three cycles of steroids at the same time is what we have going on right now. Okay. It's nuts. Thank you, folks, so much for your iTunes reviews this week because I'll tell you, they're helpful. Every week, it's iTunes and their funky algorithm. It's not us. It drives us up the charts. So if you want to help the show, that's a great way to do it. Get on iTunes. Give us 5 stars. Doesn't matter what you say. We don't care. It's not for our ego. Just say whatever you want, really, honestly.
I don't like brutal murder.
That's all. That's fine. That's fine. That'll work. If that's not enough for you, though, if you're a superstar are hero producer of ours and you want to show us that you want to keep the show as wonderful as it is for you, you can do that by going to patreon.com/crimeinsports.
There it is.
You can make a donation there, or you can make a one-time donation over at PayPal using our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com. And I can't tell you, we say it all the time, it never has any less significance how much that means to us, those donations. Every dime counts, so thank you guys so much, honestly, for that. If you want to get a hold of the show, super easy to do. Go to our website, shutupandgivememurder.com, and that has links to everything. Our social media at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Murder on Instagram, all that good stuff. You can buy the merch and the T-shirts and all that fun stuff. Tour information.
Yeah, that's coming.
That's coming
soon.
up very soon. It's time for the disclaimer. Okay. This is a comedy podcast, everybody. Right. It's called Small Town Murder, so obviously there's brutal murder, and we're going to make jokes about it because that's what we do. But we don't really make jokes about the murder per se. That's the thing. That's the one thing that's usually not joked about very much. It's all the craziness around it. So normally when we give a disclaimer, it's to warn you there's jokes. Yeah. So be careful. Watch out for those jokes. They'll come up and bite you. But
while you're examining all the murder, sidestep the jokes.
Sidestep those jokes. But today, this one, we're also warning you for pretty graphic content. So, I mean, I guess Baraboo, Maine was pretty graphic with that.
Baraboo, Wisconsin.
Or Wisconsin. Did I say Maine?
You did.
Jesus Christ.
Baraboo,
Wisconsin.
I never want to go.
No, definitely don't want to go. I know where it is. It's a damn circus town. I'm frightened of it. So I know where I'm going. That just slipped out.
I saw something today that I need to tell you about. It was on the news, and it was a circus school teaching children how to do like trapeze shit. And I was like, this is right up James's alley. Just
firebomb the whole place. Next generation of clowns, gone. One fell swoop. Let's do this.
Making them all comfortable around clowns and shit.
But this is what we don't do. What we will not do is we do not make fun of the victims or the victims' families. We avoid that because we're assholes, but we're not scumbags.
That's true.
That's the key to the whole operation that makes us have a good time. So if that sounds good to you and you're on board, you're in the car, we're all on the way to the liquor store to rob it. So we're all involved at this point. No complaining later. And if true crime and comedy, if you don't think they ever go together, have a good one. Yeah. We're probably not going to get along. So like a bad first date, have a good one. Nice to see you. Great to meet you. Yeah. Thanks and
you
goodbye.
You look great in that dress.
Absolutely.
See you around.
And also, I want to thank up front the wonderful, wonderful people at the Drake's Company for sending us 4 cases of beautiful, wonderful,
frosty goodness.
Oh my God, devil dogs, frosted devil dogs, yodels, ring dings. This episode fueled by ring ding and devil dog sugar, and I've never been happier. Thank you, Drake's. It's always been my favorite thing as a snack as a kid, like treat like that was Drake's. It always is, and now they're sending us things.
My son woke up
my
in the
dreams
middle
have
of the
come
night
true.
and goes, Dad, Can I get one of those? Can I get one of those cakes? I was like, what? And he goes, I saw a box in the cabinet.
I want them.
They're already open. Can I have them?
I'm having them.
I'm like, well, Dad loves you. Go nuts.
All of that aside, wonderful people at Drake's aside, and everything else, it's time. Yeah. And I know what you're saying, and it's a doozy. So you're saying, and we're going to deliver, shut up and give me murder.
Yeah.
Here it comes, everybody. Right. Let's go on a trip, Jimmy.
Let's do it.
What do you say? You ready? You packed?
I love traveling.
You're gonna not like traveling here. Let's just say.
Where's that?
We're going to Nebraska.
Okay.
Which last time we were in Nebraska, it was the Raymond Mata case.
Okay.
Where there was a toddler's head in the ceiling tie. Why is it Nebraska is like 2 of the worst cases that we've done in 74 episodes?
You know what I noticed? I'd have to do some research on it, but St. Louis also has
horrible things happening.
Inordinate.
Oh yeah,
you know the word.
Inordinate is what you're going for. Yes,
serial killers.
Oh, there's all
not
sorts
just
of
murder,
crazy shit going on.
Legit lunacy.
I feel like it's because that's where a bunch of highways cross and people. It's always on the highways. It's one of the things. But never mind this. We're in Rulo, Nebraska. Rulo, Nebraska. You've never heard
Spanish
of it.
Spanish for rural?
No, it is not. It is a misspelling of an idiot's name.
Really?
We'll find out all about it. But this is far southeastern Nebraska. Okay. And I mean the absolute tip. At the very tip, you wouldn't know it looking at it. You have to literally go in close at like a county view to be able to see this. And I'm not even kidding. This is not a joke. But Nebraska just looks like a rectangle. Right. But there is a tiny, tiny like little sperm tail that comes off of this county that's in the far southeast corner, and it's like it is the world's tiniest panhandle. Like it's for like Tinkerbell to pick up a pan,
Amazing.
but it's a panhandle.
All right.
It actually is. It's right there. Just juts out. It's about 2 hours to Lincoln, Nebraska, about an hour 40 to Omaha, an hour and a half to Kansas City, 3 hours to Des Moines. These are all in different directions. It's
Quite a ways.
you can get anywhere pretty quickly from this. It's a very centrally located
a hell
thing.
of a drive.
No, I mean, that's pretty fast, though. An hour and a half to Kansas City or 2 hours to Lincoln, which are totally different places, but you can get to either of them pretty quickly. It's in Richardson County of Nebraska. Zip code 68431, area code 402. It's a tiny town, very small in terms of people and in terms of land area. It's 0.63 square miles.
That's fucking nothing.
It's like a few blocks is what that is.
Nestled a town on a flea's ass.
It's one of those little town square, and then that's it. And then there's some farms outside of town, and that's what we're looking at here. Is a lot of farms and a lot of it's very rural, and the time period we're going to talk about is it's in the mid '80s, and it's very economically depressed in that area. It's very Field of Dreams where they're all going to lose their farm and all that shit. Like you can't build the field, the bank's going to foreclose. That's everybody there then. So that's what was going on. The motto here. Whoa, this is quite the motto. It's an old motto, but they don't have a new motto because they don't have a website. So,
really?
Fuck no, this town has no website. For Rulo. The motto here, quote, the front door of Richardson County. No, this is a side door at best, we'll say. It's more like a hole in the dirt with a tunnel that leads to Richardson County if you pop up out like John Goodman in Raising Arizona. And then you're there. I would say that's more accurate.
That's a pretty gross way to show up.
I feel like that's how you have to show up there. Then you fit in with the rest of the dirtbags in this fucking town.
That might be the most disgusting entrance to a movie ever.
It's the best. Mud emerging from a hole. Being birthed by the earth.
But it might be the second one might be worse than John Goodman
because he pulls him out
by the foot.
Just yanks him.
How did he crawl in there backward?
That's the other thing.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know. Somewhere along the line there, he got turned around, and I just pictured Goodman dragging him along as he was plowing through a muddy tunnel.
But the mud looked like it
was great,
like sewage.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
Good job, Coen Brothers, on that one.
It was well
good
done.
Work.
Yeah.
History of this town: the first people in this town that we know of were the Pawnee Indians. Obviously, they weren't fucking white. The first people in Nebraska.
No.
They're all white now, but they weren't white then.
They figured it out.
They were there about 400 years ago. From then on, then a bunch of other different tribes came through. The Pawnees were very religious. They were very religious in whatever their religion was. It was all the tribes kind of had their own different type of things, different earth, whatever they were into. I don't know.
I love that stuff. I don't know anything about it, but it's fucking fascinating.
It's very fascinating. Watch Ken Burns' The West. You'd love that shit.
It's actually is that a frontline thing?
It's like an 8-parter, like 2 hours each. The West. It's actually Rick Burns, who's Ken Burns' brother, but Ken Burns produced it. It's fucking fantastic.
Consider it watched.
It's the best. Anyway,
how is it that you just said that to me, and then right away I'm like, I'm watching that.
And then for Wire, Oz, Deadwood, fuck you.
For a year and a half.
Two and a half, a year and a half. This has been since Crime and Sports started.
I'm giving it a shot
and,
right now.
This you're like, can't wait to check out about these ceremonies. This is going to be great.
I'm a piece of shit.
The Pawnee Indians they didn't really, as a group, go to war with the white people ever. They tried to get along. They were considered by the white people, for whatever this is fucking worth. I mean, they considered all these people savages and everything. The white people considered the Pawnees as a higher state of culture than the rest of the Plains Indians.
Shit.
Yeah, they were like, well, they're religious,
so they're the good ones.
We can get down with that. Yeah, they fear some shit. We can, that's what we need here.
Right.
They gather once a week.
They'll keep in line real nicely when they think that something bad will send them to wherever their hell is.
We're going to find out this episode how dangerous religion can be. It's very dangerous, apparently, here. There was the Indian County Act of 1834 named this area it was called the Indian Country, and all white men were forbidden to enter unless they had a special military permit.
Wow.
So this was like, hey, we're trying not to start fights here. We got shit going on. If you go in there, you're going to start some shit. You stay the fuck out of there unless it's like we planned it and the government's coming through or something. But otherwise, stay the fuck out of these people's territory.
That's nice.
We'll take it soon.
Yeah,
Don't worry. But we're planning.
Right.
If you show up, you're going to mess up the whole thing. Pretty soon we'll have it all. No, we're going to drive them, I don't know, hundreds of miles. We're going to make them walk. It's going to be terrible, but it's fine. So just give it a rest.
Rape and disease. Just give it time.
Smallpox?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
It's coming.
Oh, just it was semen infested with smallpox all over this place.
You have to let it brew.
Oh, it's the worst, man.
Fine tea.
This whole thing here, they were the Nebraska territory was open for settlement by the passage of the Kansas-Nebraska bill.
I just suggested we have to let rape steep.
Well, yeah, you said it's got to marinate, I think, a bit. But
like an English breakfast.
You were playing like an Andrew Jackson era soldier.
It was a comic,
so
right?
It was much different.
It was a comedic cartoon.
I was going to say, I don't think that was you saying, I think we really need to let rape seep in a while. Like really marinate it. Let it percolate.
That's gross.
No, this whole thing. This bill was signed by President Pierce, who was one of the most useless presidents in the history of the world.
We did have a Pierce.
Franklin Pierce. He was an idiot, and then I feel bad for him because his wife and son were killed in front of his eyes in a train accident. I think his son was beheaded in front of him in a train accident that they were both in. So
why was that kid?
He had a tough life, and then his other kid died of disease.
My Christ.
He's a bit of a mess, Franklin Pierce. He was just this kind of sloppy
figure. Do we feel bad
figure.
for him? Is that why we gave him the presidency?
I kind of feel bad. No, this was while he was president.
Oh,
this
my
happened.
God.
Yeah, no, he made up some bullshit, and they wrote back then they would just write a book about somebody and then circulate it, kind of like. Sort of like now, except not in book form. And that's what they did to pump somebody up, and then they'd be president, basically. Like, this Franklin Pierce guy's amazing. And they'd write a horseshit book about his exploits, and then everyone would vote for him.
Incredible.
That's how they would make presidents back then. Because otherwise, how the hell does anybody know about anybody?
And the presidency cost him 2 kids.
And a wife. And a wife. So This was a big struggle here because there was anti-slavery and pro-slavery people there. So any of these states, Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska, they fought about slavery like crazy because they kind of joined the party late. So pro-slavery states and anti-slavery states were wanting them on their side to balance out so they'd have more votes. And
sure.
You know how it goes here. The first election was in the fall of 1854. 10 votes were cast in this election. So,
my God.
Tells you how poppin' this place was for the territorial legislature. This is very Deadwood.
There had better been 3 candidates.
They got everybody who owned a store on Main Street and put them all in the bar, and then Al Swearingen got some peaches out and made them all fucking vote on it.
Fuck.
That's basically, watch Deadwood when you're done with the fucking West.
I can't wait to see the West.
They kind of go together. Oh, man.
That shit is awesome to me.
It's great. It's a great documentary.
I love Native American stuff.
It's phenomenal.
I hate calling them Indians.
Also watch the Dust Bowl for an update.
Yeah, for Oklahoma?
Yeah. So it's
that's the Dust Bowl.
It's they're Colorado also is involved in the Dust Bowl in Western Colorado. Kind of where you're from.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're kind
and
of from
I have
a
no
dusty,
fucking idea.
Dumpy dust.
You know what?
hole.
I just found out that Tesla lived in my hometown. I had no fucking clue.
Well, now you know. You would think that's all they would talk about in your hometown.
Nobody says shit about it.
Where I'm from in New York, there's a lot of Revolutionary War shit went on. Every 5 feet, there's a goddamn historical place. Washington took a shit here.
Yeah.
This person, jerked off on a prostitute here. These are
it's New York.
They're honest about their plaques. No, but you see that everywhere. You'd think they'd be like, the fucking light guy is here. What happened?
Colorado Springs has
the light guy. What am I talking about? So,
He is the light guy.
I know, but I meant to call him something, not the light guy. I was to break it down to the most
inventors ever.
The barest essence of what it was. The light guy. Like he came over to fix the light. Hey, fucking light guy's here. Hey, what? Did you tell him to be? All right, I didn't know you had an All right, come on in. It's all right.
It's the alternating current guy.
We're in the middle of dinner, so don't fuck it up, all right?
They don't say shit about it, but they got a Buffalo Bill Cody grave that everybody goes to see. Buffalo Bill Cody was a fucking Wild West circus act.
Yes,
exactly. But no Tesla. No Tesla, but fucking Buffalo Bill Cody. We got him nailed down.
We got him nailed. First settlers here were from Tennessee.
Yeah.
So, they had redneck people settling the area. Then Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, and then people actually came from New England over to here to farm.
Got it.
Then later, Germans and Swedes and the Welsh, white foreigners came after that. It was still very white. The towns at this time were Mount Roy, Yankton, Winnebago.
Yeah. Yankton. That's my kind of place.
Yankton. Well, Yankton is again a Deadwood. Everything happens in Yankton.
Really?
Oh yeah, they're always referencing sending money to Yankton, the representatives in Yankton. Yankton's a huge pain in the ass.
Is it Yanktown? Is that the whole idea about it? Like Yankee? Like, but
I think probably.
It was probably
I would
like
imagine.
Yankeetown, and
it probably had
Yankton.
4 guys from Massachusetts there, so like that's Yankeetown.
Right.
Yeah, I could probably see that.
It's
it didn't
not a
take
bunch
much.
of guys tugging.
No, it's
Okay.
probably not.
Probably not.
Rulo was laid out in 1857. It was named for, now Rulo is R-U-L-O.
Yeah.
Okay? It was named for Charlie Rulo, who was R-O-U-L-E-A-U, like the French version, Rouleau. Yeah. He was known as Old Charlie Rulo to everybody. He's from Detroit, this guy. It's fucking hilarious, man. He had like he was of French descent. Everybody thought his parents were from Canada was the thing here. He arrived he kind of came on his own at an early age and was in expeditions across the plains, this guy. He did all sorts of shit, basically. He was very hot-headed. He had a lot of relationships, that sort of thing.
Okay.
They say that from the town website, it says there's various, not the town website, the county website that talks about, has a section on this town. Talks about he was known as being very generous. He would lavish gifts on people. He presented an entire block in the heart of the city to a complete stranger who sang a song he liked.
That's it.
He heard someone sing a song and he went, "This city block is yours now.
Yours.
I owned it. Now it's yours. There you go. Have it."
Away.
So that's the type. Just seems like an eccentric fucking nutcase.
Yeah, sounds like a lunatic.
It sounds like he's basically a lunatic. Yeah, and then also if he didn't like somebody for sometimes no reason at all. He just picked a guy out, said he didn't like him. The guy could say, "I'll give you $1 million for that land," and he'd tell him to go fuck off.
Okay.
Didn't care what the amount was. You could offer more money than anybody could ever seen or heard of before, and he would say, "No,
it's nothing to do
I won't
with
sell you a fucking thing. No, I won't sell you any land.
Learn to tune, motherfucker."
Yeah, people I like are going to be in this town, and that's it. So a very weird place from the start.
Yeah.
And it keeps that kind of flavor throughout its history, kind of where like
and he is what
you
to
have
this
to
town?
fit
The
in.
founder?
He's the founder. He like owned everything and laid it out and named it after himself and all that shit.
He picked the name.
What do you think? Yeah, I don't think anyone else. He's like, let's not make everyone make fun of it for being French. So by the time this guy dies, Rulo, in 1876, he squandered pretty much everything he had, vast fortune, pissed it away. He's just a nutcase.
Well, he's giving away city blocks on the fucking old
That's
Susanna.
what I mean. He's just, I like that song.
Right.
There you go. 1850.
Was that "Oh My Darling"? That was "Oh My Darling."
Man, she'll be coming around the mountain, all right, and you're going to be coming around this city block because it's all yours now, sweetheart. There you go.
Sweetheart.
Signs it off. Boom.
Jesus.
Take that, bitch.
Yeah.
Pow. And he slams it down. They're like, this guy's kind of a dick. He gave me a city block,
yeah.
but he called me a sweetheart and a bitch in the next sentence. And I'm a guy. I really don't understand this guy.
But I got a whole block.
But I guess she'll be coming around the mountain. So there was 340 votes cast by 1857.
Wow.
So it's kind
People
of
heard about the fire sale of land.
Oh, they knew, and it blew up. It started to blow up a little bit here. They had a lot of quarries here in the 1900s, a lot of mining, a lot of quarries. A mining and farming town, as we know, booms and busts a lot. You know, during times of war and shit, they boom, and then after that, they dry up. And we've done countless towns like that. That's how
hard people.
That's how small towns, these almost dead small towns like this one here.
But it creates a lot of fucking pride in where they're from. You know what I mean?
That's what's odd. And these people really don't have much reason to be prideful of this place, I will say. When we find out what happened here, they should have burned the entire town to the ground. Everybody, no matter, I don't care, you didn't do anything wrong, that's fine. This needs to be, we need to salt the earth.
Okay.
Nothing should ever grow here. When you fly over it, you should just see a giant square of just scorched earth to know never to set foot there again. That's the type of town we're talking about here.
All right.
They had 200 new homes by 1860. So, you know, things were happening. They had a ferry that went across the river there, and they had the prices for that. It was mules, oxen, and a wagon were 75 cents you could take across.
Oh, okay.
You had that sort of thing
I thought you were
here.
saying that's what it costs. A mule, an oxen, or a wagon.
Or a wagon.
So it costs
An extra pair of mules will be another 25 cents.
Wow.
So, they had all sorts of lumber prices, the whole thing here.
That's a deal.
That's not a bad deal. It really isn't. 1933, they had the Rulo Bridge, which is a toll bridge across the Missouri Missouri River. The owner of the bridge was a guy from Fall City, and they had a bunch of investors in this bridge, and they were very proud of their bridge. Yeah. It was finished in 1939, so it took them 6 years to build it, but hey, it's a fucking bridge. It's hard to do, especially back then. Yeah. By 2013, the trucks that carried rocks and shit across the bridge had pretty much completely destroyed it. It was also too narrow for semi-trailers and farm machinery, so they demolished it in 2014 and built a new bridge.
Because it wasn't a bridge, James. No. It was termites holding hands.
That was termites holding hands, and that's what it feels like here. Jesus Christ, man.
It's the greatest line ever.
The whole county, by the way, only has 4,800 people in it. Okay. And there's several towns with under 300 people in it. The biggest city in the whole place is Humboldt with 1,003 people. And there's Barada with 24 people, Salem with 160, Preston with 40 people. These are all little, this is a rural goddamn area. This town, 1950, had 639 people in this town, which that had grown to that much. Now it has 165.
Oh, it is all but given up.
Dwindled. Yeah, this is one of these towns that's just, it's a dried up vein. This is like a junkie's vein that's been hit way too many times.
You can hear its death rattle at this point. It's right there.
It's down 14% since 1990. Most small towns are up since 1990 because people have kind of moved around and population has swelled in general. It's an older town. Median age is 49.3. Okay. You get these dying towns. These aren't like, not a lot of 30-year-old married couples with 3 kids moving on in to start a life. You know,
here we are, kids.
Let's build a cul-de-sac. That never fucking happens.
Our own piece of heaven.
Nope, this is definitely not heaven. More males than females here, which is off a little bit, but there's some oil work and shit like that around here, so that kind of makes sense. There's only 82 households in the whole place.
My Christ.
So the stats are going to be skewed, obviously. They're going to be kind of silly.
Be weird.
You never know. Married is exactly on average, actually. It's 50-50.
That's interesting.
Which is normal. It's so funny that most of their things are pretty average. There's no real anomalies of statistics like there usually are at these small towns. The only big one is married with children. There's about 15. It's 47%. It's normally about 32%. Single, no children, 2.04%.
That is how many?
It's like 4 people.
That's a couple.
That's it. No, single with no children.
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm saying. That's
if you live there,
a couple of barren-loined women
find each other and hook up. Whatever sex you are, it doesn't matter. Just find each other and hook up. Whatever, you'll deal. You'll learn to like it. All right, don't worry about it. Now, racially, this town breaks down. White people, 61% right now. Black people, 1.09%, which is literally 2 people. Yeah. That is, 2 people, I think. Asian, 1.64%. That's not a lot of people there. Native American, 34.5%.
Fascinating.
So that's where
I guess I could have guessed that.
That's where you get everybody else. Hispanic, 0.0%. That's
one.
Not 100% non-Hispanic, it says on this website. Wow. That's aggressive. So
that should be the town motto.
That should definitely be the town motto. 100. That's
100% Spanish free.
That's a weird motto. People are like, I don't think I want to stop there. I would keep driving. They'd be like, why do they tell us that? That's what they're proud of? This place sucks.
They treat it like cranberry juice.
That's terrible, man. Religion in this town, it's about 63% are religious here, so it's a little more than normal. Okay. And back when we're going to talk about it, got a little out of hand. It's about 20% Catholic, 0.0% LDS. Not selling you fuckers shit.
This is interesting.
Old Charlie Rulo there said, nope, not you them. Guys. So none of those people. No Mormons at all. There's those people. It sounds like those people. That sounded aggressive. Well, it would have sounded like you talking about Mexicans, that's all. In the last breath. Shit. 0.0% Jewish. That's not shocking at all in this town. 0.0% Muslim. Again, also, not shocking. 32% Democrat in this town. 66% Republican. About 3% Independent, which is actually a little higher than normal.
I am just fascinated with not a single Mexican guy.
Not one.
Not even
nobody.
Nothing. Nobody.
They're just like none.
Jesus.
Unemployment rate here is a little lower than normal.
It's almost a point of pride at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You'd think they would. I would. You know what? If you're Mexican, move here just to fuck their whole
system. Just to ruin their whole
system. Just to all be looking. They're like, look at them.
Look at him.
They're messing up all our statistics now.
He's moving in, isn't he?
Unemployment rate here is only 3.5%, but there's 165 people. This, like we said, can somebody get Bill a fucking job? Will you hire him? Will you show up if he fucking hires you? Because I've had it. You could all meet and figure it out and have zero unemployment.
Town hall will get that guy a job.
No shit, man. So the household income here, median household income, normally is about $54,000. Here it is about $38,000. So a little less than normal, which that's never a good sign. The jobs, it's a weird thing because they're so skewed because there's so few people. Like there's 33% transportation and warehousing. It's normally 4%. That's just because there's
33%.
There's one warehouse that that's a third of the town. Literally a third of the town works there. So I mean
it's got 30 employees at minimum, right?
It is what it is.
Jesus.
Like food services is 17% because there's like 2 restaurants that we'll talk about. Healthcare and social assistance is way lower because we're in the middle of nowhere, guys. You're on your own. And cost of living in this little paradise slice of heaven called Rulo, Nebraska, as we say, 100 is average par. Normal here it is 78.
That seems high.
It's cheap. Well, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
Things like healthcare and groceries are a little higher than normal because you're in a rural setting. But housing, on the other hand, is very low. Housing is 20 out of 100.
That's super low.
20% of the median average is crazy.
That's the cheapest we've had yet.
I think it might be.
Yeah.
The median home cost here, now keep in mind, $186,000, $185,800 it's up to in the rest of the country. Here, $36,600 is the median home cost.
That's amazing.
Median. I mean, that's
like the price of a Honda Civic.
That's insanity. Yeah,
that's so cheap.
An SUV is more expensive than that. Even a crappy one is more expensive than that. It's
every minivan is literally more. Do you know that minivans are up to $50,000 now?
That's nuts. I have never looked at a minivan, but
I only know that because my neighbor was screaming about how excited he was about his $50,000. I couldn't have been.
You're an asshole if you listen
about who I live next door to.
I don't blame you.
It's disgusting.
Christ.
About $50,000.
55% of the houses are under $40,000.
Whoa!
So that tells you there. And if we've convinced you that this is the only place for you, and hopefully you're Mexican and you're going to screw up their stats because we want you to do that, we have for you the Rulo, Nebraska Real Estate Report. It says here on the average a 2-bedroom apartment is $631, but I honestly can't imagine there's very many 2-bedroom apartments here.
Better not be.
I could not find a home for sale within the town limits here. I did find 2 properties for sale. I think they're farm properties, they look like, or you could put a farm on it. They're just swaths of land. There's no structures on them. One is a 45-acre lot at 661 Avenue. Okay. That's just the address.
It's just Avenue.
661 Avenue. I don't know. It is $155,250.
And how big is that?
Insane. 45 acres, which is a fuckload of land. It's a lot of land. And then I found a 62.5-acre lot on Prairie Road. And when they show the aerial views, there is nothing around it. It's not like it's like in between 2 other farms or something. This is rural, man. This is out there.
Not even cows or like those balls of grass on them.
It just looks like there's a lot of grass, and that's it. It's just the plains. You can buy a chunk of the plains here for $215,625.
Is it worth it, you think?
No, probably not. Maybe. I don't know the economics of farming. If it's good soil, maybe it's worth it, or if you can graze there. I have no fucking idea how that works. But
seems like
I wouldn't pay that much money for that. No, it's the middle of nowhere, and it's terrible. Things to do here. Exciting. Big Lake State Park isn't even in Rulo. It's in Craig, Missouri, which is nearby.
It's on another state.
Other state. There's that. And Wild Bill's. This is their most popular food and
it's a restaurant
bar. It looks like a shed that you'd be murdered in.
Fantastic.
That's what it looks like. It looks like in a movie if you pulled over, like, we've been driving for 3 straight days, man. We got to pull over and get a sandwich. And you're like, well, there's a place. And you're like, you don't go in there. That's what it looks like.
Or it's the setting of every, like, where the car breaks down or the tires flat.
That's what
you
it
just
is.
hear the whop, whop,
whop. And there's a couple locals
sitting
in there, and they take you and, rape you in the forest. That's what happens here. here. But people reviewed it well. It has 7 reviews. It seemed to be pretty well. It looks like a fighting type of liquor store,
awesome.
That type of thing. Also, there's the Falls City Cobblestone Festival, which is in nearby Falls City. It sounds super boring, but they have a demolition derby.
Oh,
so
now I'm in.
That sounds like fun.
How do you celebrate cobblestone? What do you do? Is that festival? I am so fascinated.
It's your normal small town festival. Barbecues and fireworks and face painting, and then they bash up some cars and they call it a fucking day. I don't know. They discuss.
And they do it on the cobblestone.
They discuss how to keep Mexicans out for the next year. You know what I mean? It's like, it's getting harder every year, guys, and they just can't figure it out.
We'll have a town meeting at the Cobblestone Festival.
Let's do it. The crime rate in this town, property crime, a little bit lower than average here for property, which is nice. Small, tiny town, you'd expect that. Violent crime, the Mount Rushmore, murder, rape, robbery, assault.
Gorgeous.
Violent crime, it's about 20% higher, but that could mean last year they had one more incident than normal. That jacks up the whole rate because there's nobody here.
Yeah.
And there's enough room here where you shouldn't have to murder anybody. Just you have land. You're all spread out. There's 165 of you. Do you have to kill each other, really? Go to the next place.
Yeah.
Come on.
Fred got pissed at the Cobblestone Festival and stabbed somebody
I feel like
over
they
their
did.
Want of Mexicans.
Yes, definitely.
None! There will be none.
None. So let's talk about some interesting goings-on in this town and some disturbing goings-on in this town. This is... Wow, what a fucked up story. This story, first of all, I'm going to apologize right off the bat because this story, normally we give you every ounce, every speck of everything that's involved. It's impossible to do that with this story.
Really?
We could do a 3-parter on this story because the world around it, what causes this, it's like... Okay, you know, I remember like in a cartoon when there's two things fighting and it's like a big ball of dust,
big dust,
and then other things get caught into it, and then they'll just spit shit out every once in a while. That's what this is. This is like this shit that's happening. Picture a big ball of dust, and it spit something out, and then it caused this thing that we're going to talk about.
Oh, my God.
This is the part that spit out. So we don't have any time to talk about the large...
Shit happened on the outside of the whirling dervish?
Yes. We don't have a time to talk about the large ball of human tumbleweed that's happening in a cloud of dust off to the side that causes this. So
Maybe we should.
It would take... We could probably do 4 parts on this because it's so deep and crazy.
Is amazing.
We're just going to talk about what this thing caused, and it'll make sense in a minute what I'm getting at here.
And somehow these people figured out how to do that with 140 people involved.
They did, and it's so rural in these farms that people don't know what the fuck's going on in these farms, and that's where you get. It's kind of a survivalist type thing. It's a little white supremacy. It's a little mix some fucking off the wall wacky religious beliefs, and you got yourself an odd little farm cult and some weird shit happening.
Well, there's barely any black people. There's no Mexicans.
No,
there's going to be some white supremacy for sure.
Well, let's find out because it wasn't the town's fault. This came to the town. We can't blame the town for this. This is what I mean. It was spit out. Of the fight. There's an article that a lot of the backstory, a little bit of the backstory, but a valuable enough amount where I'd like to have to at least mention them that they did such a good job. In November 1986, the Chicago Tribune put out a really good article on the backstory here that gave me some good facts. Yeah. Well, it's still alive now, regardless of what people fucking say. There's a lot of shit like this now. You just have to look for it mixed in with the rest of the horse shit. So this is a spit out of the other shit. So they talk about, this is how they described it in this article. They described Rulo. Quote, the hamlet of Rulo perches alongside the Missouri River where the borders of Kansas, Nebraska, and Missouri converge like the crosshairs of a telescopic rifle sight focused dead center on the troubled heart of the American grain belt.
Wow.
First of all, pretty good writing. Yeah. Second of all, that shit sounds depressing and frightening and awful, like a telescopic rifle sight focused on dead center on the troubled heart of the American grain belt.
That's amazing.
It is. This was in the 80s. In the mid-80s, not only was there a giant oil crisis, where oil was not for, if you were buying oil, it was great if you were, gassing your car up. But if you owned oil and companies that owned shit and people, that destroyed a lot of shit here. And then the farm, everything flattened out in the farm things, see Field of Dreams and others from that era. And so it was a very depressed time.
Did you get a name of that guy?
In this on the
that was
article,
clearly tugging to that while he was writing that. He wrote that shit on a typewriter.
Oh yeah,
one-handed with his
it might
cock
have been a word
in his other
processor
hand.
by
Maybe,
the mid '80s, but one of those.
He was
pieces
for sure
of shit.
rubbing on something.
A laptop that weighed 45 pounds
that he was pushing back and forth on his lap.
Gave him fucking testicular cancer from sitting on his lap.
But it was warm and it felt nice.
Whatever radiation it was putting out. Now, let's talk about some people here.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Rick Stice and Sandra Buttrick. Okay, not butt trick. That's. I just wanted to give you.
She does a butt trick.
I wanted to give you a second to process that because I figured you definitely have something to say. Ping pong ball's not from the butt. She's got a whole other act with the butt, so don't worry about that here. Now, Rick
it involves a rope.
Come on. Rick and Sandra were high school sweethearts here. They married when they were 16 years old. This is
the two of them were 16.
This is like an attempted John Cougar Mellencamp song here. This is in 1976. They're both 16 years old. This is Jack and Diane, I guess, attempt, and it doesn't work out that way. We'll put it that way. But they do get married at 16, which I would think you'd need parental approval at 16, I think, even in the 80s, even in Nebraska.
Who knows?
But who knows? In Nebraska, you might not have to.
Probably people just don't object.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little more about Casper mattresses.
Casper.com.
Casper.com is where you can get a wonderful, amazing, refreshing night's sleep. You can be sure of your purchase with Casper's 100-night risk-free sleep on it trial, which is amazing. You can get $50 right now towards select mattresses by visiting Casper.com/smalltown and using smalltown at checkout. It's incredible. These are the best mattresses. You spend 1/3 of your life sleeping, so you should be comfortable. The experts at Casper work tirelessly to make a quality sleep surface that cradles your natural geometry in all the right places. The original Casper mattress combines multiple supportive memory foams for a quality sleep surface with the right amount of both sink and bounce. With over 20,000 reviews and an average of 4.8 stars across Casper, Amazon, and Google, Casper is becoming the internet's favorite mattress, all designed, developed, and assembled in the USA. Casper is a sleep brand that makes expertly designed products to help you get your best rest one night at a time. These Casper mattresses are wonderful.
They're the best.
They're the best. They come to your house. It's basically what they've done is they've taken heaven and they've stuffed it into a mattress. And then they've rolled it up, put it into a box, and then you get it, and you take open the box, and you're like, there's a mattress in here. And heaven unfolds in your house. It's incredible. They're so comfortable, honestly.
You have one, right?
I have one.
I
love mine. My kids actually love theirs, too. You're going to get a great night's sleep on these mattresses. They are so great. So great, and you can be so sure of your purchase that with Casper's, you get a 100-night risk-free sleep on it trial. So right now, get $50 towards select mattresses by visiting Casper.com/smalltown and using smalltown at checkout. Terms and conditions may apply. That's $50 towards select mattresses by visiting Casper.com/smalltown and using smalltown at checkout.
Casper.com/smalltown to get $50 towards select purchases. Go now. And now back to the show.
I think if you look like you're above elementary school age, they ask you what happened on Captain Kangaroo this morning?
Right.
And if you go, I don't know, they're like, he's all right. And then you can get married. It's the 80s, I assume. That's what's up.
What brand do you smoke?
Y'all see the Smurfs this morning?
Right.
No, they can smoke at 9
That's
down
my
there.
point.
At 8. That's too young. Got to ask them just some age-focused shit here. Now, it comes out later that, why did you get married so young? It comes out later, way later, that Sandra was pregnant is why they got married so young, which is a typical story. This is why abortion is good.
Right.
I know some of you are going to disagree with that, and that's fine. We can disagree on that. Right. That's one of those things, if that's your moral stance, and I'm not going to have a problem with you. I understand that, whatever. But this is why, just kind of pragmatically, this is why it's good. So you don't get married at 16 and end up being involved with what the fuck is what's involved with
forever.
Her mother, Garnetta Buttrick, yes, Garnett. You should have seen Jimmy's eyes get wide just then. I want to talk about that for a half hour.
We don't have time.
I want to talk about Garnetta Buttrick. Jesus, James, you can't put
Did
that
you
out
say
there.
Garnetta?
Garnetta butt trick.
You betcha.
Yes, I'm sure it's Pietrick, but still.
It used to be
There's
your
only one
last
T,
name
so it's
was
Pietrick.
what you did.
Yeah, but it's got to be Butrick. It can't be butt trick.
Nope.
But I'm
It's
calling her
butt
butt
trick.
trick because I can't help it. She says later on, this is way after everything happened, quote, it can't hurt her now to tell that she was pregnant when they got married. So she comes out and admits, hey, they were pregnant.
Couldn't hurt to tell us
this
before,
was later
too.
on. Well, this was after they were married and all that, so it didn't matter. She's like, well, now it doesn't matter. They've been married for a few years. So Garnetta Buttrick describes Stice as Rick Stice as at 16 years old as a, quote, typical small-town teenager. She said he's politically disinterested. You know, he doesn't give a shit. He's just a small-town teenage kid in the mid-'70s.
He's a dipshit.
He doesn't care. He's just a dipshit. He's active with his family. He goes to the Methodist church every Sunday and goes for their Wednesday night, pancake fuck-off.
Sure.
I don't know what the hell those people
whatever
do.
the fuck they do.
I always see there's a lot of pancakes involved in church.
Really?
I don't know why. I think that's a Catholic thing, though.
Maybe.
I think it's like, they'd have like the CYO basketball Catholic breakfast thing to raise money. Yeah, that's a Catholic.
I see that a
That's
lot.
a New York thing. Never mind.
It's just a breakfast thing.
It's a back east thing, I think, with the fucking
powdered
pancakes.
eggs
Something
and
about pancakes. I don't know what it is.
I mean, the churches that I went to was always something with a fucking barbecue.
Oh, yeah, that's
Always with
more of a
goddamn
Western
barbecue.
thing. Yeah, we never had any of that shit. Barbecue.
Stop it with the fucking potato salad. It doesn't get you closer to anything.
No, and potato salad can be wonderful, but you don't need to mix God and potato salad.
Right.
I think potato salad is wonderful on its own and doesn't need any help from God.
I'm very particular
about
my potato salad. There's a few things I don't want in it: pickles, olives, and Jesus. I don't want none of those in it.
Potato salad. Can you hold the Jesus on that, please?
Keep the Jesus
no,
right the fuck out.
No, do the mustard one.
Right.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But no, Jesus. Bacon, yes. Jesus,
the
no.
eggs, fucking you're goddamn right, eggs.
So, this couple here, they're 16. This is amazing, too. I can't imagine. At 16 years old, they're a married teenage couple.
Yeah.
She's pregnant, and they move on to an 80-acre hog farm.
Ugh.
At 16, you're going to be ma and pa fucking hog farmer at 16. She's knocked up. So
yeah, he can't even pull out on time, and he's going to fucking try to raise hogs.
And think about this too. This is a 16-year-old kid who literally 3 months earlier was a 16-year-old kid, and now he's a married hog farmer with a child on. He's like, what the fuck happened to me?
Got a career, about to be a dad.
How did I get to be 60 years old with a pitchfork and overalls on? I was in science class like 3 months.
He's politically disinterested, James. He can't fucking run a business and be politically disinterested.
He should have been fucking interested in something other than knocking his girl up, because his life would have been a lot more choices.
He should have at least tried out her butt trick. That doesn't have babies.
Well, you know what? That's what happened. That's what ensnared him. Was the butt trick. And he's like, this is terrible. And he's like, but she does do that butt trick. So you know what? Fuck it. I'm a hog farmer, I guess.
Maybe he should have stuck with the butt trick.
I guess I'm a hog farmer.
Keep it out of the giner, bud.
This farm was owned by Stice's father. Okay. Ortho is his name.
Yeah.
Ortho.
Like the guy from Beetlejuice.
That's Otho.
Well, close enough.
Ortho Stice is his name, which that's some hard Midwestern.
That's fucked up.
That's a man who with overalls. A lot of them.
And he grew up. He's an adult with that name.
Oh, yeah.
He went through life with that shit.
Stice. Wow. All right. That's some hard Scrabble shit right there. Ortho Stice sounds like a depression name. That sounds like you're depressed and poor, so you name your kid Ortho Stice. To show
to pass on the depression.
Oh, man.
I know we're out of the depression now, but I want to keep it in you. That's what I want.
Please, I'm gonna mold it, and you're gonna be a little Ortho. Yeah. You're gonna feel what it's like to be named Ortho, young man.
Baby, can you imagine hearing a woman telling another girl that she is interested in a man named Ortho Stice?
He's so handsome. Oh my God.
What's his name?
He came. He came. It was so cool. He picked me up. His car is so cool. And did I tell you about? Oh my God, he's so smart.
No, tell me his name.
Well, he had a bunch of money in his pocket. It was really cool. He brought me flowers. Okay, so he's really handsome.
I'm sure he is.
He's so handsome. You don't understand. He's so good looking. He's hilarious.
Does he live in this town? Tell me his name.
Let me know if you've heard this joke. He told it to me. I was on the floor. It's really good, okay? Fine, it's Ortho, okay? No, I know. I asked him if he could go by his middle name.
What are you talking about? Why would you date a man named Ortho?
And his middle name is Aloysius, so we're going with Ortho.
Is his last name Pedic? What the fuck?
This is terrible. So, Ortho gives them the farm.
Yes.
You know you have to make good on the farm if it's handed to you by a man named Ortho.
Right. If he didn't invent the Pedic mattress, fuck this man.
If that would have been... they don't come from Pedic money, let me tell you that much. But the Stices, Rick and Sandra, at a young age, somehow made it work for the late 70s. Yeah. It was working. Mm-hmm. Like, they were making enough money to get by. Mm-hmm. They were having... It's fucking nuts. I can't believe it. Like, that you would make this work. This place would have been a shithole in 3 weeks. All the hogs would have been fucking dead. Yeah. It would have been a mess.
Just flies swarming.
Oh, my God. Everyone, what happened? And I'd be, like, sitting on top of the barn smoking weed going, I don't give a fuck. I'm done with this fucking place. I'm done with this farm, man.
I don't care if you miscarry.
I don't give a shit. Yeah, that's your fucking problem. Yeah, eat the hogs. What do you want from me?
They're already dead. You don't even have to kill it.
Throw them on the fire. I don't know what to tell you.
Get it before the maggots do.
Jesus Christ. So they have their Aura is Aura. They named the first daughter. Aura, born in 1976. I assume
the junior of Ortho, right?
Junior, I assume, we'll name him after my dad because he gave us this farm. Barry was born in 1978. Fuck. Barry.
They're killing it with names.
They named him, and that's when the Bee Gees were popular there. So we're naming him after a Bee Gee.
You think that's what it is?
I think it was.
Barry
I think
Gibbs?
They're like, I really enjoy Night Fever.
Anything by the Bee Gees.
He was explaining to Sandra how she was in fact more than a woman to him, and then they decided Barry would come along. Unfortunately, the next son is not named Andy; he's named Luke, which I feel like is biblical. Yes, because they're getting religious. This was so they have Aura in 1976, Barry in 1978, Luke in 1980. They borrow some money from the bank also to fix up the farmhouse, modernize the hog pens, buy a new pickup to take things to market, modernize their operation. They figure if we spend a few bucks, we can make a lot more money on the farm. They're investing in their own business.
That's business.
Hey, you know what? This, for right now, 2 kids, they had everything. Got pregnant at 16. They decided to keep it. They got married. They said, fuck it, we're going to make it work on a fucking hog farm. And then they're doing it. By like 18, they got 2 kids, and they're borrowing money for farm equipment and hog pen modernization.
It's amazing.
I was not doing that in 18. By 18, if someone came up to you and asked you about hog pen modernization, you'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? No idea what you're talking about. You had just gotten busted stealing video games from Best Buy. You're not interested.
Sears,
sorry. That's right. I know it was the UFC game, but I couldn't remember where. I would assume, well, you know what? Who got the last laugh there, Jimmy? It doesn't really matter.
I still bought shit from you.
Once they're all closed, you can go back to their barren left behinds and go, I'm here now, Sears.
Guess who's still got a shitload of your craftsman's tools, bastards?
Right. Yeah,
and if they break, I'll be coming back.
Yeah, they won't be there. So by 1980, by 1980, Luke was born, like we said. The family started to become a little bit troubled financially. The hogs weren't making the money anymore.
No.
Well, the hogs were paying the bills for a while here. Now the hogs weren't bringing in enough money to cover the living expenses and to make the bank payments for the loan to modernize the farm, which now they're in Field of Dreams trouble.
And this is mid-'80s?
This is 1980.
Okay.
So this is the beginning of that whole time period of sad farm songs and Farm Aid and all this. Is when all this shit is starting. This is exactly what they're talking about.
Is it because of like the modernization of farming, where it was like streamlined slaughter and all that shit?
It's everything, man. You had to just modernize. If you had farm equipment that was from 1945, the last time Ortho was using it, and it's 1980, and you're trying to make a buck.
Yeah.
Fuck, man, you can't compete with the guy down the street who's got good equipment, who can produce things quicker. He's
got a conveyor belt for the pigs.
It's a business, it's a business that you have to invest in, and this is also the time when corporations and more corporate started getting into farming, and it was less individual farmers.
I think that's where I was going with, was the corporate stuff.
It was fucking killing these guys because they were producing more, driving down the prices. And then if you're a small farmer who depends on a small amount of hogs to make your living, and the prices drop 20%,
you're fucked.
Your living margin of error isn't 20%. So
some country folks start singing.
Exactly, man. But they tried. They did it. They economized. They were the ultimate This is like your typical, this is a John Cougar Mellencamp song. They economized. The kids started wearing hand-me-downs from each other and all that kind of shit. They stopped going to the movies. They used to go to the movies every couple weeks as like their escape because they live on a fucking hog farm in Nebraska.
Yeah.
I assume they probably didn't have a real good cable system back then. They probably didn't have a lot to do.
Yeah.
So every couple weeks you go to the movies. That had to feel like, oh, I'm joining civilization again. And instead,
when the fun
they had
is
to give it up.
Castrating a hog.
Yeah.
That's not a happy Friday night.
No, and they said they gave up other frills as well. They called going to the movies a frill.
Oh, boy.
I guess it's an elective. It's not like something you need.
It's
but
disposable income.
It's not like a frill like you went and got a massage or something.
Right.
That's just kind of, I'm going to go sit and get sane for a minute. April of 1982, things were so tight that they had to drop their health insurance so they could use the premium money to cover the loans so they didn't get their farm foreclosed on. So this is what I mean. They've squeezed.
Rolling the dice on their own health.
They've squeezed. Yeah, they're squeezed to the point where they're just all sides are squeezing them, and a lot of people went through this. This was a very this story could be told a million times over from this era, 1982, 1983. The economy was in the shits. Things were in bad shape in the entire country, but it was worse in the plain states here. So this is April of 82. This happened. They dropped their health insurance. Now they have the worst luck I've ever heard of anybody ever. The next month, Jimmy, May 1982, the next month, Sandra is diagnosed with Hodgkin's disease.
How the fuck?
Are you fucking kidding me?
She goes her whole life, health insurance, no problems.
Whatever.
Drops it a month later.
Whatever religion you are, change religion because that God sucks.
Yeah,
that one is not a good one. He's
He's
doing a shit job.
He doesn't like you unless you have health insurance?
You can't have worse luck than that.
No.
And this was... you can if you have insurance and you can get a bunch of expensive treatments, you can treat this very well. But if you don't have insurance, you're fucked. And they were fucked. They had no insurance, so she couldn't get the treatments that she needed to. She could have lived a long time. I mean, really. Instead,
that's very curable. That Hodgkin's.
Yeah. Well, there's different forms of it, but the form she had, they said she could have lived many years. She could have lived another 20 years, or they could have, and probably now they could do even more with it.
I guess cure it is not the word I'm looking for, because there's no fucking cure.
They could put it into remission for long
They can
periods
treat
of
it
time.
and you will be fine.
Yeah.
You have a chance of living a much longer, a very long life.
Yeah. Instead, her, with no treatment, they said you probably have about a little less than a year to live.
Holy shit.
This is a young woman. This is 1982. She is 22 years old with 3 small children and a hog farm. And they're like, yeah, you're going to die.
Start writing letters.
Because you have no fucking health insurance.
Brutal.
This is, if you're not from this country and you're going, huh?
Yeah.
That's what happens here sometimes.
That's how we treat it.
Yeah. That's and we're not saying that to bash whatever. We're not saying that to be whatever. It's just, it's the facts of the matter.
That's the way it goes.
Because we'll talk to even like our agent and I'll be like, yeah, I don't have health insurance. He's like, what do you mean?
What's wrong with
He's
you?
like, oh yeah, you guys don't have that. It's like, no, I don't. Like he just looks at it like, that's so weird.
Yeah,
it must be great to just go to the doctor. Treat your Hodgkins like a fucking fancy person. This poor woman, man.
Why are you declining that, James? They give it to you. You're supposed to just take it.
It's fucking nuts,
no.
man.
You don't get it, Max.
Yeah, sorry. It's like, yeah, just go to the doctor. I can't, asshole. Do you understand? Sorry, Max. He's not an asshole. And he doesn't badger me about that at all. I just remember bringing it up, and he was like, oh, yeah, I never thought of that.
Right.
Like, wow, it's weird. We just turned Max into the dick. Like,
well, he's sitting there smoking a cigarette going, why don't you just go to the doctor?
Go to the doctor, yeah. What the fuck, dude? So...
Telling us how people in Canada, while he's smoking a cigarette, he goes, if you don't smoke these in Canada, you're just a pussy.
Yeah, it's like,
what are you talking about?
Well, you're emboldened from your insurance. So this poor woman has less than a year to live, though. Yeah. She wishes she was Canadian at this point in time. Mm-hmm. So now this is what the fuck do you do at 22 years old? It's not like they come from a rich family. Right. The dad gave them what he had to give them, which was a hog farm that's in disrepair that needed to be, fixed up by bank loans. There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to turn. There's no anything. Right. You're just fucked. So you get desperate at this point, and you do. People get super desperate. Yeah, they try weird treatments. Yeah. They'll try, holistic things that may or may not be helpful, whatever. They'll also seek people like faith healers is the problem. And these people, I'm sure there's some of them out there who genuinely feel like they're trying to help people. Most of them are taking advantage and preying on people who are in the lowest state of desperation and are just looking for any form of hope. And they come in and basically use that for their own purposes and then discard them on the side of the road like garbage. So that's pretty much what a lot of these people do, take their money, that sort of thing. So they turn to a faith healer. Okay, they go to several revival meetings in Kansas in 1982. Yeah. So they're traveling for these meetings too. This is like, we got to go to the big revival. Fucking crazy, man. They're led by a guy named James Wickstrom. Okay. James Wickstrom, this is what I mean. We could talk about James Wickstrom for 3 hours. Okay. No problem. And his insanity and his group that he formed and he was the head of and the shit that he was preaching and all of this. Yeah. We could talk about it forever, but it really is only relevant to this case in what it ended up skewing people to do here. Got it. So we'll keep it. We'll keep it as much to that as possible. He billed himself as National Director of Counterinsurgency for the Posse Comitatus. That's what he...
Counterinsurgency for the posse or like trying to keep the posse out?
No, for the posse. Okay. He's the counterinsurgency guy, National Director of Counterinsurgency for this posse. Okay. He's from Wisconsin. They said that he enjoyed a nationwide reputation for his stem-winding speeches. He exhorts farmers to, quote, fire the government and adopt the posse code that teaches that God personally revealed the U.S. Constitution, complete with the Bill of Rights, to the Founding Fathers.
Okay. I'm already out.
Number one, their thing is you can never fuck with the Second Amendment because now whether you're a big Second Amendment advocate or you're a gun control, but it doesn't matter. Either way, we're pretty sure that we are discussing something. When we're debating that, on either side, you're debating that with a person who feels like this is a man-made law, at least. No, you're never no one's ever going, God said there's a Second Amendment. So you can't have that argument with somebody because that's like, okay, where the fuck are we? What planet are we on? That's their thing here.
That's called a cult.
Yes. Thank you. The posse.
Anytime there's strong indoctrinated beliefs that are influenced by a different power, a different being, it's a fucking cult.
Which is the same exact definition of a religion that you just gave.
That's a good point.
It's just, the only thing that turns a cult into a religion is age.
Is a collection plate?
A cult is like a fine wine. Right. If you let it sit in the basement long enough, it turns into a religion when you uncork it. You uncork it and you're like, ooh, it's matured into religion now.
Did you see that?
Ooh, that's beautiful.
200 years old.
We'll take over Utah. Beautiful, wonderful. Sorry, Mormons. You're not a part of this. No. This is way outside the bounds of normal religious structure here. So we're going to be offending everyone. If you are religious, we're not trying to offend you personally. This is outside the bounds of normal religion. This is
ridiculous.
Well, let's talk about what the posse's beliefs are, and some of them, we can only brush through them, like I said. The posse holds that a conspiracy by a cabal of international Jews has amended the document, the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, in violation of God's law, establishing a federal income tax, giving the vote to blacks and women, and otherwise working for the downfall of the white race.
Okay, so there's so
Let's
much
unpack
to
this. This is like getting a box of Blue Apron except delicious.
Right.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Cut that tape.
This is holy shit.
Listen,
wait.
Okay, so look, I've got some white supremacy
pick up on that side because it's heavy.
Yeah. I got some white supremacy over here.
Okay,
there's some
so,
of that.
Jews?
There's a lot of it.
Well, let's say exactly what they're saying.
That's the anti-Semitism.
Make sure to get that. That's a big. Oh man, that's a whole section.
Oh boy,
it goes deep.
That one
Don't
drips.
forget to get that the hardware baggie of women voting suffrage. They don't.
I think this one melted.
That's a lot of screws and bolts and shit.
Yeah.
They said that. So Jewish people have amended the Constitution.
Right. So Jews are bad
in violation of God's law because God wrote the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. So if you rewrite his writings, then you violate God's law. Obviously,
goddamn Jews,
fucking duh. Jesus Christ, Jews, get your shit together. Duh. Who doesn't know that? Like, what the fuck? So, also establishing a federal income tax, that's the fault of the Jews. That wasn't, that we were at wars. We had wars that we needed to fund. It wasn't that at all. Like, that's really what it was. Right. Giving the vote to blacks and women also.
Right. Those damn blacks and women.
What will, and the final thing, it's their otherwise, this is all just to undermine the white race. Right. That's what they're saying. The only reason they're doing any of this is to undermine the white race. So that's what they...
Heil Hitler.
That's
Jesus
fucking
Christ.
insane.
This is essentially the speech of the Aryan Brotherhood behind bars. Like, the prison gang is essentially saying that in their 14 words.
That's pretty much what it is here. Yeah, so he would have sermons that warn that international bankers, led by the same Jewish conspiracy that rewrote the Bill of Rights and the Constitution of the United States, are at work today today meaning in the mid-'80s, foreclosing farm loans, passing laws making it even easier for the minority population to grow in size while making it even more difficult for whites to, quote, replenish their numbers. Because people are passing laws to make it harder for you to fuck each other. No.
This is unbelievable.
Fuck all you want. I don't think anybody, Jewish or not, was saying, how do we get white people to stop fucking? Right. No, they fuck everywhere.
Apart from stopping you from fucking
Have you seen
children.
Teen Mom? All they do is fuck. Right. They're everywhere.
Oh, good Christ.
Holy shit. So, wow. They're working, this is a big conspiracy. Because you got the Bill of Rights, you got to let blacks vote, you got to let women vote, the income tax. Now, how do we take farms away from white people? And while we're at it, how do we get these Puerto Ricans to fuck more? Right. Holy shit. Like,
let me say this, though. This is how great it is to be a white person in America. Like, if there was a group of black people that had that same thing and changed the word black people to white people and then changed the word, the white man part to black people, there would be a fucking war. There would be so many federal agents closing in on that shit.
It would be so nuts. They would do something crazy, like elect Donald Trump president or some crazy shit like that. Wouldn't that be weird? Just to let you know, this recording taking place November 24th, 2014. So,
it's weird.
Next election, anything's possible.
Anything could happen.
I hear 2016 is going to be crazy time.
It's going to be wild. That's just bananas that's how fucking white people get away with everything. We can do fucking literally anything, including forming a cult that nobody fucking stops that sounds already like this is the problem.
This is an issue. This cult is an issue. Yeah. Number one, this is what Wickstrom said at one point. And let's say this 5 million times over. Okay. Everything we say that we quote these people, we don't fucking agree with this. This is not small-town murder-approved behavior. Because we had another episode where I was quoting an insane Nazi MMA fighter and said something, and one person got offended and said that we said the N-word, which we quoted him because it was important to see how crazy this fucking guy was, that he said this in public, and it wasn't as powerful the other way, and you needed to know how crazy he was. And it was one of those things. And we said we weren't happy about it, and we're not happy about this either. But they fucking said it, and you have to know how crazy these people are.
I had to tell a college-age British girl to shut her fucking mouth and don't listen to this show.
We both had to do it. Yeah, that was bad. So, anyway, this is what Wickstrom says. Quote, Yahweh our Father.
Oh, boy.
That's what they call God figure here. Yahweh our Father is at work setting the stage for the final act against the Christ-murdering Jews and their father Satan. Don't fucking leave him out. And they have uncles, too, that I have an eye on.
The Jews' father is Satan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Satan begat the Jews, apparently, and then they did all this crazy Bill of Rights tampering and given oh, my God, keeping white people from fucking. It's been hard on them, Jimmy.
This is amazing.
He said this isn't a videotape. They found a videotape of one of his rallies here. So...
How the fuck? How do you get like this is like at a timeshare? Like you sit down with your wife, and then they start explaining, and then you look at your wife at some point, and then go, "I've heard enough, haven't you?"
Heard enough,
at this point,
how
like
many
when he
years
says they're
8,000
the Jews
down?
and their father Satan. At that point, don't you look at your wife and go, "Come on, haven't you had enough of this?"
But the thing is. These people believe that this man, for some fucking reason, can help heal her.
Unbelievable.
Because they're that fucking desperate. Now, if they just had health insurance, none of this shit happens. That's the thing that's amazing. Blue Shield.
Yeah.
This whole fucking story. Moot, null, and void if they just had health insurance.
God damn it, USAA, where are you?
If they decided, let's wait a minute on that premium. Let's not cancel. Let's send it one more month. None of this shit fucking. Not that it's their fault. I'm just saying none of this
bananas.
shit. Something, and I'm not saying I'm only saying that something so small. Not that that's small because I don't have health insurance either. But
God damn it, stop qualifying it.
I'm sorry, but it's man.
It's true.
It's fucking true.
If they would have had Aetna, they'd be fine.
They'd be 100. None of this shit would have fucking happened. So you know what? Everybody should have fucking health insurance. How's that? I tried to dance around this fact for the whole fucking thing, and it sucks.
Right.
You should all have fucking health insurance. If you don't fucking agree, eat dicks. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not saying who should pay for it, blah, blah, blah. But we should all have fucking something to not have to go seek out assholes who say shit like this to faith heal your wife.
Fucking crazy.
Holy shit. So, yeah, these people here, his wife's about to die. He's about to lose his farm anyway, even though they're not even have health insurance. She's going to die and they're going to lose the farm. Right. And so he embraces this guy's shit. He goes along. He feels like the group props him up and makes him feel better. Now, another guy that he meets at this one of these revivals is a fellow named Michael Wayne Ryan. He's 6'2", 230 pound, big redneck son of a bitch who's an unemployed livestock driver. He's from Whiting, Kansas, where he lived originally.
Also desperate?
Desperate, an asshole. This guy's a bad guy. Okay. He's just had a lot of problems. He's kind of lazy, too. Okay. He loves weed, which I find very odd. You'd think he'd be much more chilled out, but he fucking loves weed to the point, I guess, of it not being a good thing for him. Oh my God, man! I don't even know where to start with this. He was called Jim Wickstrom's main man in Kansas.
Got it. Okay.
So that tells you he's a part of the posse's upper echelon. Okay. He had a crew cut. He had a big giant beard because he wanted to be like the Old Testament. He wore overalls, and so imagine this guy: crew cut, giant beard, Old Testament style beard, and bib overalls on.
Fucking wrestler.
Yes. Yeah. He looked like Hillbilly Jim if he had an unhealty cousin. Yes. Like, what was it? Uncle Elmer. He looks like a skinnier Uncle Elmer from back in the day that 5 people will get that reference. Have fun, Jason Fuller. Enjoy that reference. So, crazy shit starts happening here during this time. 1983 comes around, and we have a overall-wearing, crew-cut having, bearded lunatic, and who's the right-hand man of an even bigger lunatic who is running a insane white supremacist cult, I guess you could call it.
That's a great summary.
Wow. Anyway, so about sometime in 1983, Michael Wayne Ryan started calling people on the phone to try to kind of gather a group together. Okay, he says that he has orders from headquarters. He tells everybody orders from headquarters. They're big into trying to make this like a weird paramilitary thing too. They give everybody military titles. We'll talk about later. He called. It's so fucking weird. He would tell the people that he called that he himself, Michael Wayne Ryan, had quote talked to Yahweh, and that they were supposed to go out and do some stealing at the time. So I talked to Yahweh.
He's cool with it.
I got on the horn with Yahweh this morning, and he's really, really up my ass about this stealing thing. I got to fill out the forms and everything, so it's going to come on. No, I need the paperwork by Friday, or my ass is grass, man. Seriously, this is going to fuck up my 401k. Don't mess with me.
How do you not set the phone down and look back at your... Babe, we sat through the Jews coming out of Satan's loins. But he's now telling us that Yahweh is telling us to steal. Like, he had a conversation.
He's like, I talked to Yahweh. Yahweh said you need to steal. And clearly, Yahweh said to do it. So, I mean, what time are we going? You picking me up, or who's driving?
I mean, like, we're clearly getting out of this thing now, right? We can't.
What are you talking about?
You're right.
No,
you're right.
This is
in for a penny, in for a pound.
This makes sense. All the pieces are fitting together, Jimmy. It's made a beautiful mosaic landscape of insanity. So if anybody refused to go on the stealing raids, Michael Wayne Ryan would tell them that their families would not be safe if they angered Yahweh. He said that's the other thing Yahweh said. If you don't come, I forgot to tell you. There was a part 2. There was a B to the Yahweh. He PS'd it hard, and he was like, hey, make sure to tell them I'll fucking fuck their family. I will fuck their mother in the face. You know how Yahweh is. You know.
It said signed Yahweh, so
you know that
it was for sure for him.
So Ryan at this point had 4 wives. Now at this point he had 4 wives. Okay, now
That always happens, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
It's always about sex and power.
You can't give a man power.
No.
And I'm not talking a man, a woman. You can't give a carbon-based being power, of absolute power over people. Even if it's
them not to fuck everything.
Even if it's 5 mentally deficient people in one room, he will fucking run amok.
Yeah.
Even if it's a smallest group, he will run amok. He will fuck everybody.
Yeah.
He'll steal.
Yeah.
You can't. People
if you
can't
fit
have
his
power.
Sexual pleasure, you're it. You're getting fucked.
Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
For sure.
And that's in politics. Never mind in fucking on a farm with Yahweh dictating the terms. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about Simply Safe.
SimplySafe.com with an I, James.
That's right. SIMPLI.
Right.
SAFE. In 2017, the Better Business Bureau heard more than 5,000 customer complaints about alarm companies.
What?
That puts home security in the top 10% of most complained about industries.
Is that right?
That's crazy, isn't it? I believe it, too.
Yeah.
Here's how you fix home security. You get rid of contracts, hidden fees. You work really hard to earn your customers' business instead of relying on tricks and fine print.
That makes sense.
That's it. And that's exactly what our friends over at Simply Safe have done. This is a company that treats you right. There's no contracts, nothing hidden. They're not trying to mess you over. How rare is that? How rare is that today, a company that relies on good service and a great product to earn your business?
That's crazy.
Rocket science, isn't it? And they figured it out. Good job. I've known Simply Safe and known about Simply Safe for a long time. We have here. They are good people over there. They have a really, really good product. You will sleep safer at night knowing that your home is protected by the people over at Simply Safe. It's why they've got an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau for 10 years running. And there are over 40,000 5-star reviews online for Simply Safe. Simply Safe is what security should be. You're getting the best protection, period. Visit simplysafe.com/small. That is simplysafe.com/small to sleep better at night and protect your family.
SimplySafe.com/small. Get in there, protect your family. And now back to the show.
Now, Wickstrom showed Ryan something known as the arm test.
Yeah.
Okay. This is what the arm test is. This is probably the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life.
Okay.
If all the other shit before this didn't get you to go, we're going home now, right? Like this, we're not coming back next. Oh, we'll see you next month. Yeah, sure. Like, don't put anything in the plate. We're getting the fuck out of here. This would make you do it. If all the juke, all that shit, this would do it here. Okay. Michael Wayne Ryan would face a group member. The group member would extend his right arm at approximately a 90-degree angle away from their body. Sure. So kind of a hiling, a lowered hile, we'll call it. Then Michael Wayne Ryan would place his left hand on that person's right shoulder, on the shoulder that's outstretched there, and oh my God, and place his right hand on the guy's right wrist, the person's right wrist. So he'd have a hand on the shoulder, hand on the wrist, of the hand that's out. Then they would ask Yahweh a question, and Michael Wayne Ryan would apply pressure to the person's arm. If the arm dropped, then the answer to the question being asked of Yahweh was no. If the person's arm stayed up, then the answer was yes.
What?
Now, this obviously is completely 100% based on how much you push down. Right. So Michael Wayne Ryan just decided shit and said, we're doing the arm test to see what Yahweh says. And then if he wanted it to be that, if he wanted it to be down, no, he would push your arm down. Right. If he wanted it to be yes, he would act like he's pushing your arm down. But Yahweh and the power of Yahweh, even though your outstretched arm can easily be pushed down with a hand on the shoulder and wrist, the power of Yahweh keeps it up because he wants the answer to be yes.
Okay.
This is fucking nuts. That's when you leave at that point. Even if you're an anti-Semitic nutcase, at that point you're like, okay, what the fuck are we talking about?
Easily debunked.
This is crazy time. So absolutely nuts. They use the arm test for every aspect of their life. Everything. It was literally, which should we have this for dinner tonight? They do the arm test. Like, I'm not fucking around.
They needed Snopes so bad.
Oh my God, the internet. The internet would have made these people worse because they would have just found every rabbit hole, nut shit, bag shit to go down. So this,
y'all see, it's flat. The Earth is flat.
Jesus Christ! Wow. So April of 1983. This is 11 months after she's diagnosed. Sandra Stice dies. While sitting on the porch of the farmhouse at, not even 27 years old.
The worst.
Incredible, man. 3 little kids. Or not even 23 years old. I apologize. I'm 27. It would be great if she was 27.
I was like, Jesus,
she really made it. No, not even that. That's insane.
She didn't even make a year. Or a little
didn't even make
year.
it. No. Okay. So Rick Stice here is leveled. I mean, he is. I don't blame him. I mean, this is...
Lost the wife,
what do
now
you do?
You're gonna lose the farm.
What do you do? So what he does is he invites Michael Wayne Ryan and the other lunatics and the other followers to live on the farm.
To help.
After being instructed to do so by the arm test.
Yeah, of course.
Michael Wayne Ryan was like, let's do the arm test to see if we should all move on to your farm now. Oh, Yahweh says we should move there. Okay, pack it up. No, Yahweh says so.
We're moving in.
We're moving in. Wow. Cheryl Gibson, who's another one of these women who ended up there and who ended up being one of Michael Wayne Ryan's 4 wives at one point. She was all up into this revival shit, and she decided to leave her husband and take their 6 children to live on this fucking farm after... Guess, I'm going to give you one guess how she decided to do that, Jimmy.
The arm test.
The arm test told her, she said, should I leave my husband and take my 6 kids to live on a fucking farm in the middle of nowhere with a crazy religious nutbag? Oh, I should? Okay, good. That's how I'm going to decide my life.
What in the shit is going on?
Okay, so...
How does this happen?
That's what I'm saying. So for nearly 2 years, this goes on, of everything is arm test. Yeah. And Ryan is administering it, Michael Wayne Ryan. If he wanted to take one of the women as his wife, he would grab her arm and ask Yahweh if she should be his wife now, and so he'd take another wife. If he thought someone should be punished, he would grab their arm and ask Yahweh for guidance as well.
I would have assumed at least a butt trick, not an arm test.
Not an arm test, yeah. We're going to do the butt trick.
Right.
So they from the arm test, obviously, they would go out to Kansas and Missouri to steal farm implements and rustle cattle. Like it's the fucking 1800s.
What are they doing?
This is the second story, everybody, that we've had where in the goddamn 1980s, somebody was cattle rustling.
This is ridiculous.
This is insane. 2 cattle rustling stories in a matter of like 4 months. They would steal steal the farm implements, and this was all, of course, directed by the arm test. Yahweh told them to do it. They would use the money to buy guns and ammunition, obviously.
Creating a fucking militia.
And sophisticated video equipment as well, because they wanted to produce their own videos to spread this. Because how do you do it? Think about it in the mid-'80s, 1984, 1985, video stores are starting to pop up. Things are really, you can really disseminate some shit with videos. And they're thinking everyone's watching these videos now. It'd be like making a YouTube video now. They were like, we need a YouTube setup.
We just got to get into Blockbuster and we're winners.
That's it, man. We get into the video update down there on Main Street. I'll tell you what.
Wait till we're in Hollywood.
If that Hollywood video picks us up, man, fingers crossed.
Fucking bananas.
Fingers crossed. I'm going to have so many wives, it ain't even funny. So, he did all this. They bought the guns. John David Andreas, who's another member of this deal here, he said that Ryan told everyone that the place called Armageddon in the Book of Revelation was nothing more than a wheat field, and that the real Battle of Armageddon would happen on a wheat field right outside Rulo.
Yeah.
That's
convenient.
Wow. Ain't it convenient? Everybody. Now, this is crazy. Now, you would think Armageddon's a big planet. Armageddon could happen anywhere, right? Happens to be.
Right here.
You could see it right over that hill there. That's going to be Armageddon right there. Crazy, right?
Isn't that amazing?
Well, that's just the guidance of Yahweh putting us in the right place. By also doing the arm test, Michael Wayne Ryan figured out through the arm test that he had the spirit of Archangel Michael.
Yeah.
So he is the spirit of him flowing through him.
This is so dumb.
And by 84, he also told everyone, Ryan, that he could communicate directly with Yahweh through his mind now. He doesn't even need to speak it anymore. He's got a real mind control thing going back out there.
Here's why it's great to be white, but it's also bad to be white, because black people would never do this. Because black people are not this fucking stupid.
This motherfucker's out of his mind.
Are you crazy, motherfucker? Mexican people steering clear of this whole fucking town.
Yeah,
they're
they'd be like,
no, say no.
No.
No, our Lady Guadalupe.
You're not going to force Mexican people to move to a farm because they know who's going to be doing the fucking work at that point. And they're going to be like, nope. Oh, you want us to move to the farm with you? Bunch of white people and then a few Mexicans.
No.
I don't think so. Gee, what's my job going to be? Just a
guy
hanging out.
This is a guy showing people the arm trick.
Am I going to be doing administrative work, paperwork, shit like that? Oh no, I'll be in the field. Right. Exactly.
I'll be farming. Fuck that.
These people were required to listen to dozens of audio and videotapes of Wickstrom doing his sermons. Obviously, they would indoctrinate him that way. And then this is the strangest thing: repeated over and over and over again screenings of the movie Red Dawn with Patrick Swayze. What the fuck is going on? Because Soviet troops invade the heartland and all the farm town local teenagers have to fight them off. So basically they're saying, this is what it's going to be like. Because he's saying this is what the government's going to do, and then you have to fight off the U.S. government like Red Dawn style because Patrick Swayze can take down the Soviets. I'm fucking speechless.
His fucking superhero is Patrick Swayze. How great is it, man, that his fucking superhero died of pancreatic cancer in like 2 weeks?
Yeah. Weak pancreas. That's his problem. Strong on Russians, weak on pancreas.
That's your hero?
Sorry, Swayze. It's not your fault.
It's not.
What the
It's funny that he's weak.
I don't know. I apologize for repeatedly just saying, what the fuck? But what the fuck?
This is crazy.
What is happening in this town, man?
Ridiculous.
What is going on here? Ryan repeated some arm tests to see if it was okay for everyone to smoke marijuana. And surprisingly,
weird.
Yahweh's cool with it. He's cool. Yahweh's like, no, it's cool, man. It's cool. Make sure you pass it. Don't be bogarting that shit, and it's all good, brother.
To the left, man.
So he would urge everyone to smoke weed and then run around the farm firing their automatic weapons at various targets that represented Soviet soldiers.
Holy shit.
So they're doing like training like Al-Qaeda fucking like you'd see on TV after 9/11, the guys on the monkey bars going across it. They're doing
weeded up Al-Qaeda.
but just high. Like, what the fuck what kind of a strategy is that? First, I'm like, I'm not shooting anything.
Fight when I'm
good. I'm cool right here. I mean, shit.
Ridiculous.
The Russians aren't really here, right? All right, well, then what are we doing? That would be my response is that.
Wake me up when Red Dawn's over.
Yeah, it's fine. Wow. Jesus Christ, man. He said that the true chosen people of the Bible are white people of Nordic and British descent, and that people known as Jews today are actually a tribe of Indo-Turkish Khazars fathered by Satan.
Yeah.
So that's the real.
They do call themselves a tribe.
No, there you go. So wow, this is kind of a Christian identity thing here too. One of those kind of crazy fucking things here, and there's been a lot of those. If you see neo-Nazi and there's a lot of neo-Nazi clan rallies,
all that shit.
Yeah, that sort of shit here. Obviously, the anti-defamation leagues have been on top of these people for a long time, pointing them out. They also explained it's been explained that these people often these posse members would take the Christian identity thing a step further and maintain the same kosher diet as the rules do for Orthodox Jews, which makes no fucking sense at all. I don't understand what that is. They were meeting every Saturday originally to study the Bible. This is before they all came to the farm. Michael Wayne Ryan would have these things, and on the farm too. It continued every Saturday. More people would come. They were attended by a guy. Remember this name, James Haverkamp. His sister is Cheryl Gibson, who we talked about, who left her husband, took her 6 kids. Lisa Haverkamp, his mother, Lisa Haverkamp, his other sister, his mother Maxine Haverkamp, and his wife Ruth, and their 3 kids would all come to do this shit. The whole Haverkamp clan, Cheryl Gibson, plus her 6 kids, sans husband. So, sans husband.
Leave that fucking square at home.
Yeah, totally. So he would be there. James Haverkamp had a younger brother, and the father would also attend from time to time, as did Andreas, Rick Stice, the Stice children, and Stice had a girlfriend that he had brought in at this point.
Of course he did.
Of course. Well, it's a meeting, people. This is farm Tinder, as we've said. So we've had Alabama Tinder last week, with farm Tinder. Texas Tinder's the CB. We're getting it all in here.
Colts or Nebraska's Tinder.
Nebraska Tinder. That's what it is. Like, I don't know. I'll meet somebody at the revival in the farmhouse, I feel. So Michael Wayne Ryan would read and interpret the Bible in his own way. He told anything that disagreed with his teachings, he would just say, the Jews added that.
Right.
The Jews added that part.
Into our Bible.
Right. And we took it, and I'm reading it now. And then rather than get a different one that didn't have these pesky Jew passages that
we interpreted this shit from Hebrew.
These pesky Jew addendums that just keep happening. They were rewritten at that point. They would rewrite verses of the Bible to conform with their beliefs. So like now it's better.
Yeah.
Now so that you're wow, okay.
Like society
and then
evolves and
so we'll rewrite it ourselves.
With it.
At the conclusion of the meetings, they would usually smoke weed. It would be like, all right, everybody, now we're smoking weed, which is the weird hate, Jews, this, that, arm test, Yahweh. Now let's chill, bro. Yeah, okay, cool.
What? Pass the dube, bro.
What the fuck, man?
It's like the beginning of that 70s show, but it's the end of their show.
Oh, my God. Jesus Christ. I don't even know what the fuck here. So, by the way, the Cheryl Gibson, the reason why she left her husband is because during the arm test, it was determined that her husband was on Satan's side. And so, she couldn't stay with her husband. So her husband, she said,
that arm test is called an uncomfortable ride home. That is a brutal ride.
If she stayed there, her and her husband and children would all be killed in an automobile accident eventually. That's what Yahweh said. So she said, well, I got to save their lives, so I'm going to come here. So what the fuck, man?
God, she's dumb.
So a cult service is held. Michael marries her. Michael marries Gibson there, and Ruth Ryan, who's now Ruth, and her husband, now she's a Ryan. The cult, they had a wedding there. Rick Stice officiated because I guess it's his farm.
This guy,
and that way, at that point, they were married in Yahweh's eyes. Now,
so Rick Stice, right? That's the name. Yeah. So I'm trying to see this from his perspective and seeing that he lost the person that he adored. Lonely as shit. He's got 3 kids that he's got to take care of, and he's just got people that are willing to help. That's probably his thing at this moment.
Yeah.
But still...
Well, you went to this guy to faith heal your wife,
and he didn't do it.
She fucking died on the porch, so get the fuck out of my house now. My wife's fucking dead. Nice job, asshole.
Good riddance.
You blew it. I'm hiring another plumber.
Take Yahweh on down the fucking road.
Exactly. It's crazy. So... this whole thing is nuts.
I can't get a grasp on it.
Yeah. So once they moved in, they had been acquainted here. Michael Wayne Ryan told his wife Ruth that Yahweh wanted them all to be wanted Ruth and Michael Wayne Ryan to be closer to Gibson. That's how he talked her into that whole thing, which is wow. So they're all there. Cheryl Gibson, her kids, Haverkamp, all those goddamn people. Also later on that year, Timothy Haverkamp, who's a cousin of John Haverkamp, he comes in also. Or James Haverkamp, I'm sorry. He comes in. Everyone moves on these farm. There was 7 adult men, including Dennis Ryan, who is Michael Wayne Ryan's son. 3 adult women, who Ruth Ryan, Gibson, and their 15-year-old Lisa Haverkamp is also there, and 10 children. That's the basic group. And Maxine Haverkamp, James's mother, would come in all the time and hang out.
So if you're a Haverkamp, you're involved.
You're a Haverkamp, you're involved. There's 10 kids. There's basically 10 adults and 10 kids, and then people who come in and out. That's the whole thing here. So at this point, Michael Wayne Ryan officiates over the wedding of Rick Stice and Lisa Haverkamp, James's sister. And in 1984, Michael Wayne Ryan also married married Cheryl Gibson's mother, Maxine Haverkamp.
Good God.
So now he's got Ruth, he's got Cheryl, and her mom. So now he's married to a woman and her mother.
That is creepy as fuck.
This is fucked up. This is like Phillips, Oklahoma, except they made it official rather than just fucking the mother in the trailer and then the wife getting mad at you and all that. He was like, this guy figured it out.
Yeah.
That guy would have that guy. This is what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
The guy in Phillips, Oklahoma. He was just too fucking dumb to do it.
He just needed an arm trick.
That was it.
Right.
If he came up with one gimmick, the arm trick, he could have done this. That's what he was trying to do.
Arm test.
Arm test.
The butt
arm
trick. Right.
It's the butt. It's the arm trick. We'll call it, and the butt test. So
that's what he needed, a butt test.
So there's two houses, two trailers, let's be honest here. They're trailers on this farm. Okay. Stice was determined. He's the high priest of the group. And
because he's the landlord.
Exactly. It's his place.
They're throwing him a bone. That's all that is.
Exactly. And he and Lisa Haverkamp shared a bed in the south trailer. Okay. That's their bedroom down there. The remainder of the group lived in the north trailer. The men, there's no towers here, I promise. The men slept in a big room known as
basically a tower laid down.
That's what it is. A very small tower laid down. All the men slept in a large room they called the barracks, and the women and children slept in various other rooms. Yeah. So that's how
wherever
that went.
Could fit.
They just stick all the dudes together.
Yeah.
Fuck those guys.
That's a bunch of dudes that don't trust each other.
Yeah, no. All the women are in there. Yeah. They're marrying off to each other, different shit.
I'm going to wake up with your cock in my wife's maw.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Who happens to be my other wife.
Oh, by the way, did I mention who happens to hear? This is my mother-in-law wife. Huh? What was that? What was that guy? It's my mother-in-law wife. It's all right. Nah, she don't mind or nothing. It's great. I get them all in the room.
You heard of a midwife? This is my mill wife.
We fucking
What's a
dance
mill wife?
around. You know how it goes. What do you want from me? So
this is so gross.
Once Ryan's at the farm, he uses the arm test to determine what we should use this farm for. And he determines that Yahweh would like them to stop raising hogs because pork violates kosher law.
Oh, so, that's right.
Stop raising these hogs. Now, that was the only source of income on this farm.
Right.
So within a few months, the bank foreclosed on the farm.
Of course.
That's all we have to pay these loans. Yahweh will take care of it. Wow. So he loses the farm. The farm ends up being purchased then by James Haverkamp and Lynn Thiel. This is with money stolen from James Haverkamp's father. So they steal money from his father, including, because, Maxine is in on it too. Right. She helps steal the money, and they steal it to buy the farm so they can all live on it. During this time, Michael Wayne Ryan decides, we'll say determines, but I think he just decides. He decides that Yahweh is pissed off at Rick Stice for the reason that they say that Rick Stice raped his wife, Lisa Haverkamp. They say. Okay. We don't know the details of that. Yeah, they say that Yahweh's...
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Did he rape you? No, he didn't.
Yeah, Yahweh's angry about the cult wife rape, and that also he's mad because Yahweh has told Michael Wayne Ryan through his conversations that he has mentally, obviously, that Stice was having, quote, bad thoughts. Bad thoughts.
How dare he?
That's pretty vague, so that could mean anything. Yeah. So he's having bad thoughts. One of the things was that he lost the farm. Yahweh was angry about him that the farm was foreclosed on, even though fucking Yahweh was the one that told him to stop selling hogs, which was the only way he could make money to pay for the fucking farm. Otherwise, you're having revival things with 20 people in the farm. That's not a big moneymaker since they all live there.
Right.
So, yeah, not terrific. Wow. So Michael Wayne Ryan ends up demoting Stice and moving Lisa to the north trailer, where then she would share a bed with Ruth Ryan and Cheryl Gibson. No word on Maxine Haverkamp. She's involved in that too. But wow. So she would now move there. So this is what I'm saying.
He's claiming his wife.
He took his wife from him. Yeah. What the fuck? Ryan's wives were the queens. They were all called the queens of the compound at that point. Like we said, Timothy was there. Also, there was nieces. It's fucking crazy, man.
This is gross.
All of the Haverkamps are fucking Michael Wayne Ryan, or they're being whatever.
Forced to.
They're married to him, guided to. Yahweh's still, I don't even know. The other queens were Ruth, the original Ryan wife. She's got to be like the bottom queen at this point. Yeah. She's got to be She's the original. Yeah. She's the OG queen and shit.
The one.
She was the mother of his 3 children also, which makes her, kind of legally bound to him. Yahweh or not, you're going to have to pay your child support. So
that's the truth.
That's a problem. So the daily life is established here. The women would consult Yahweh through the arm test to determine meal plans, including how long to boil water. They would do a fucking arm test to decide how long water should boil.
That's science.
You don't need the arm test. Ryan would use the arm test to find out if any of the group needed to fast or pay penance that day. Also, if he's pissed off at someone, it looks like it's fasting day for you, or you're getting a whipping.
They just walk around with their arms out all day.
Arm test time. Oh shit! I'm at that 50 times a day. By the end of the day, you'd be like, this is stupid. The first day. This is every day. He would assign tasks for the day, Ryan would, to everybody, farm shit and get everything done, and then he would spend the whole day watching TV.
Of course.
He can't be bothered.
My man.
He'd be watching television. And then
he's running it right. I'll give him that.
And then nightfall would come, and he would tell the other members of the group where Yahweh is telling them they should go steal shit that night. Then he would send the men out on these stealing raids, and he wouldn't do shit. He'd stay home and watch TV and get blown by one of his 7 wives or whatever it is. So they're gearing up for the Battle of the Wheat Field apocalypse. Yeah. That's literally what they're doing. That's why they're stockpiling weapons. That's what he says. When wheat field apocalypse comes, you're going to be happy you stole them cattle. Let me just tell you right now. That's a lot of extra rounds. Ryan gave all the men a military title, and within a few months, all the men were generals. Some of them were 5-star generals, all of that sort of thing. Except for Rick Stice, who was the owner of the farm at the time, so he was a 6-star general. This was before he got demoted from the high priestdom. Then he ended up, I was going back to that, but he was a high, so then he got knocked down. Now he's not a high priest or a 6-star general. Right. He could have taken stars away from this guy here. Wow. They stockpiled ammunition and automatic weapons and enough food to fill a 20 by 35 foot room on the farm's property.
That's a lot.
That's a shitload of food. Neighbors often heard gunfire from the property because, as we described, they would smoke weed and shoot shit. Right. One neighbor said, quote, "Sometimes you'd swear the National Guard was up there because of all the shooting." So, by 84, they'd acquired over 75,000 rounds of ammunition, which isn't playing around anymore.
No, that's
a lot.
Yeah.
That's a shitload. That's too much.
My goodness.
Arguably too much ammunition,
for sure.
I would say.
Yeah.
Dozens of weapons, including several fully automatic weapons that were obviously illegal.
That's a threat. They could take away any town that's close by. For sure.
75,000 rounds and a bunch of machine guns. You go into a town with 40 people in it, you're taking over. What do you have? One cop with a fucking cruiser?
With a 6-shooter?
Yeah, it's not going to help. And I think that's what they were doing. They also had seed. They stockpiled seed to grow shit for later on, for the apocalypse, for post-apocalypse. You got to grow shit. You got to start over. Charcoal, and we told you all those food. Now, more members joined a little bit later. 2 men. I don't understand why these people are. I don't know how you pull people in.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
It's a lot of them through desperation of work too. They have no money. They're desperate, these people, and they know someone, and they're told this is a good thing, and then they're told they can get work there, and they go.
Shelter and food.
Yeah, 2 of these guys. One of them, they were from a Mennonite community near Beatrice, Nebraska. One of them here was James Thim or Tim. I don't know how you say it. Thimm. We'll call him Thim.
I mean,
James Thim and his friend Tim. It's probably Tim.
I don't know. Tom Thim. With an H always drives me nuts.
James Thim and his friend was John David Andreas. Okay, and he was the one, John David Andreas, who told him about this. Both of them had been unable to find work. They're going from town to town looking for farm jobs, like Depression-era hobos, literally going like, any work today?
Anything you got?
It's crazy. Now, James he was born in 1959. His mother, when he was a baby, was too ill to care for him. She spent lots of time in the hospital and passed away when he was a small child. It's tough. He went to live with a couple who welcomed him in. He attended the Beatrice Mennonite Church growing up with his foster parents. And his father, too, was there, too. And his father was okay with him being raised by these people. They were all known as friendly, active members of the church. And James was known as a really nice guy who was active in the church and very enthusiastic about religion.
Delivered a tough hand in life.
Yeah, active about religion and farm work. Sometime, though, he started to become friends with, like we said, the Andreas and a couple of the other weirdos that ensnared him into these revivals. And he started to hang around the cult and kind of get into their beliefs and that sort of thing here. Now, at its peak, there's about 25 people involved in this. And most of them are... There are people who are having a hard economic time, financial times, that sort of thing. Brian would hand down punishments that seemed random, a lot of times involving sodomy, by the way. His punishments would involve, like, well, I guess we're going to have to sodomize. Right. Yahweh says you need this in your asshole, which is wow.
Done with the arm test, now it's the butt trick.
Yeah, it's the butt trick. The wedding, by the way, Ryan, when he married Lisa Haverkamp, was in 1985. It was June 25th. Then he ended up marrying Deborah Thiel, who was the sister of Cheryl and Lisa, who we told you about there. So now he's married to a bunch of sisters and the mother, and it's a niece. Much. It's fucking crazy.
He really likes the Vandy Camp.
He likes those He really does. Those Haverkamps are his type of women. Man, so I can't believe, too, he married, that's crazy, man. He married Maxine Haverkamp. That's just so weird.
How do you get the mom? How do you do that?
That's what I mean. How did she not?
What the fuck is going on?
Oh, my God. She didn't live on the farm, Maxine, but she would come twice a month to, quote, perform her conjugal activities.
Gross.
So she'd come twice a month to fuck this guy, which is insane. He announces in 85, Ryan announces that Lisa Haverkamp is now the Queen of Israel. She's the Queen of Israel now.
Have you even ever been there, too?
I don't know how that happened, but apparently...
I don't think they have a royal family either.
We've got new information in, and apparently she's the Queen of Israel. What do you want from me? You know what I mean?
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So now...
Meanwhile, they hate the Jews. Like, this is so weird how much they hate Jewish people. Yeah. But
they say that
Israel and the kosher lifestyle is for them.
Because they're saying that they're the real Jews. Is what it's so twist. This is what I mean. Why we could have spent 4 episodes on just their theology and their insanity and their belief system.
It's ridiculous.
But it just matters of because as we've seen, we've gone away from all of that, and we're just in Michael Wayne Ryan's whatever. He just used that as an excuse to do this, so that doesn't even matter anymore.
Very selfish.
Any of the shit on the outside doesn't fucking matter anymore. New Year's Eve 1985 or New Year's Eve 84, going into 85. Ryan tells the group that Lisa and he had spoken to Yahweh, and Yahweh says there's going to be some changes coming in the new year on the farm. So they smoked some weed, chilled out a little bit.
This will be the same.
This is going to be good. We are going to smoke weed still. And then Ryan informed everyone that unless the jealousy stopped, apparently there was some jealousy things, because he's fucking all the women. Right. Then if that didn't stop, then something would happen and the law would be informed and then the children will all be taken away. Basically, he's saying, I'll have the children taken away if you guys don't stop complaining about me fucking your wives and sisters and mothers. Which I don't know, man. He said that each individual had to make a decision on whether to remain or to leave the farm. This is nut cutting time.
Yeah.
You're in or you're out right now. Yahweh indicated that anyone who elected to leave would most certainly burn in hell.
Yeah.
He's been told that, and if anybody elected to stay, he would have to stay with them forever. So you're getting jumped in or you're out right now.
Blood in, blood out, bitches.
You're either a made man or you're not right now. Or you're fucking out. Sorry. So he said that if anyone decided to stay and then ended up leaving later, that's not allowed anymore. He said, from now on, if you do that, I will, quote, hunt you down and kill you.
Okay.
So now he's saying you stay or you can't leave. Either you stay and stay, you're not allowed to leave, or you leave now and never fucking show your face again.
And you're burning in hell.
Now it's a cult thing. Yeah. Now you're not even. Now it's not freedom of movement has been taken away. One time during a Saturday Bible meeting, James Thims stated out loud that he wasn't sure there was a Yahweh and expressed doubts. No, he expressed doubts in the arm test.
Oh, don't you do that, Tim.
Don't bring logic into this, James. The whole thing will come crashing down.
Oh, my God.
He was saying, like, if you he's just him. It's just him. Shrugging his shoulders.
Don't you
and
guys
they're
see?
looking at him like, what are you, fucking nuts, man? And he's like, he's got his arm.
Right.
Like,
he's pushing down. Don't you see that?
Wow.
You can see his tricep flex whenever the arm drops.
Come on. What the fuck,
Clearly,
man?
he's pushing it.
So apparently also Rick Stice's 5-year-old son 5 years old. By the way, his name is Luke Stice. He also apparently expressed doubts about Yahweh.
Oh, boy.
This is a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
You can convince him that a 6-foot-tall bunny brings him chocolate. But this shit is so ridiculous that a fucking 5-year-old doesn't believe it. But these adults have come from far and wide to live here and hand over their loved ones. What the fuck is happening in this goddamn town on this farm?
Not so much so
it's
that
not the town's fault. This is a
lady's
farm.
leaving and then still coming back twice a month to blow this guy.
Oh, I'll be back. I'll fuck you. Don't worry.
But a 5-year-old sees right the fuck through it.
Oh, my God. So that's a no-no to express doubts, even if you're 5.
Right.
Wow. He knew.
Right.
Jesus. So in January or February 85, James Thim, Rick Stice, and Luke Stice were now all moved to the South Trailer. Because apparently Rick is going to be punished for his son. Right. He didn't keep his son in line here. Right. Both Thim and Rick Stice were demoted to slaves.
Oh, boy.
Now they're not even high priest down to regular guy. Now you're slaves.
Thanks for opening your mouth, Junior.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And Luke was then called names as never his name. He's 5 years old. They called him, his favorite 4 names were dog, mongrel, gook for some reason. They are not Asian, by the way. And dog shit, he called them all the time.
Eesh.
A 5-year-old boy.
Eesh.
A fucking 5-year-old boy who's lost his mother when he was fucking 2 years old. This is horrific. What a fucking monster. It gets so much worse. That's the nice thing that he's doing. So, the part of as part of these changes, Stice and Thim were made responsible for most of the guard duty. They had to do all the guard duty around the perimeter, washing of the dishes, and care of the chicken and goats. That is their. That's what they have to
duties,
do.
Yeah.
Now, Michael Wayne Ryan at this point began to abuse Thim because he's a slave and he treats him like shit.
Right.
He also would abuse Rick Stice and, of course, Luke Stice, as we told about. He would call him names. Right. Ryan threatened to amputate Rick Stice's penis and threatened to skin and then burn Luke Stice alive.
Oh, my God, that's going far.
That's far. He said, I'll cut your dick off and skin and burn your son alive, which is a threat.
Which is, I mean, all for saying Yahweh might not exist.
Yeah, that was for your kid saying Yahweh might not exist. Wow. I can't get my kid to say or not say shit, and he's 11. At 5, he was saying anything. He would have said anything he wanted at 5. Right. That's insanity. So... Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about TrueCar.
TrueCar.com.
Here are some useful car tips you might not be aware of. Yeah. A coffee filter and a little bit of olive oil can clean your interior.
That's handy.
Removing excess weight from your car will improve your gas mileage.
What?
And you can place your key fob in your chin to increase its range.
I did know that.
Weird. That's weird stuff. I actually have heard that, too. Well, here's another tip you might not know about. TrueCar also helps people get good used cars.
That's true.
They really do. I'm telling you that right now from personal experience because we bought a used car through TrueCar.
Right.
And it was a great experience. Found the car we wanted. Got it at a great price. It was at the dealership when I went there, ready to go.
There it is.
It was the best, easiest way I've ever bought a car in my life. TrueCar isn't just for buying new cars. With their certified dealer network and nationwide inventory of nearly 1 million used cars, you'll enjoy real pricing on actual inventory and a simpler buying experience, whether you buy new or used. And with TrueCar, users can see what others paid, so they know if they're getting a good deal before buying. They're also more likely to enjoy a faster buying experience by connecting with TrueCar certified dealers. When you're ready to buy a new or used car, check out TrueCar and enjoy a more confident car buying experience. Some features are not available in all states.
Yeah, that's true. At TrueCar.com. And now, back to the show.
After all this, after the threats, he made Thim and Rick Stice do calisthenics, which was another form of punishment. They would make him do tons of, which is basically what the CIA does to, guys they scoop up and take to Turkmenistan and torture in a fucking basement somewhere. Same shit. Now, in March of that year, Ryan he forced James Thim, to have anal sex with Rick Stice, okay? And told Thim to, quote, make him hurt.
Wow.
That's how he's punishing these people.
He's making an insubordinate rape the insubordinate's father.
Yeah, okay. From now on, this is fucking horrible, by the way. It's been horrible. Yeah. Now on, it's not funny anymore for a little while. So buckle up. This is some horrible shit. Okay. We're going to get through it, and we're going to try to be adults about it and be professional because it's really fucking bad. Okay. At this point, Ryan would also force Rick Stice to perform oral sex on his own son.
Oh, that's not cool.
And force his son to perform oral sex on Rick Stice.
That is fucked up.
In front of the whole group, too, to make it a little more. If you can't embarrass them a little bit more, try to humiliate them a little bit more. Ryan tells everyone that Yahweh wanted these acts to be performed. This isn't him. Yeah. I wouldn't want people to do this. This is Yahweh. I mean, he's talking to me. In order to,
I think it's disgusting.
But for me, it's in bad taste for me personally. He said that Yahweh needed to humiliate them for having bad thoughts again. This is another bad thoughts. They had bad thoughts. This is what has to happen.
Whose idea was this shit to happen? This was Yahweh's got some bad thoughts.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
This is fucking gross. Yeah.
How do you guys not just go, hold on, breaks?
How do the women in the group not at this point plot to take these fucking kids and run from this place? I mean, I'm sorry to put it on the women to take care of the kids, but in this time period, they were holed up. I'm not even saying that. They were the ones holed up with the kids, so they had access to them.
Why don't you just fucking take off?
Yeah, I didn't mean it like that, but it was whatever.
I mean it like that.
March 85.
Sorry.
Cult members paint, this is not funny again, cult members, God, this is so fucked up. They paint 666 onto Luke's back, and while they call him names. This kid is 5. He doesn't know anything. And they would douse him with ice water and then kick him outside into the cold.
I mean, he does know something. He knows Yahweh doesn't exist.
He knows something. He's the only one with half a fucking brain in his head in this entire operation. They'd kick him outside into the cold after they doused him in ice water.
Jesus.
They would another time. Ryan demanded that Luke be dangled from a dog leash around his neck, like hang him from a dog leash, basically, not kill him, but dangle him from a dog leash. Eventually, this is fucking horrible, man. Ryan ended up shoving little Luke very, very hard, and he ended up hitting his head on a bookshelf and knocked him unconscious. No one called a doctor. No one took him to the hospital. Ryan told the members to put him in bed and to pray for him, and he died.
Jesus.
This poor fucking kid died from a blow to the head from that, which is unfucking believable. Apparently, he had repeatedly shoved him, and this was not. He had knocked him out, and he'd come back, and then he did it again.
Oh fuck!
And he did it here. So this is horrible. He forced Rick Stice and James Thim to dig the grave and bury him also.
That is shitty. That's not... Wow, man.
Wow. Then, if that wasn't enough, if we unpack that, man, it's going to be...
That's too deep.
It's too deep, man. Then after this, after he killed him and had his father, Rick, bury him, then he said his father still didn't pay penance yet, and he forced him to fuck a goat 3 times.
What the fuck?
Fuck a goat 3 times. That was also part of a punishment.
Penalty?
Either you get raped or you have to fuck a goat. That's your punishment. I don't even know, man. During March of that year, while all this is going on, this is the same month this is happening, Ryan and Lisa go to Kansas City for a honeymoon. Isn't that nice?
After all that?
I think it was during the same month, so I don't know the exact dates, but during the same time, he left his son Dennis and Timothy Haverkamp in charge of the compound here. While he was gone, Rick Stice escaped. Gee, I wonder why. Yeah. Holy fuck. Thank you. Finally, he returns. After Ryan returns, James Thim is now in trouble for not keeping him here.
Really?
So James Thim is kept chained to the south trailer porch now, outside like a dog, basically, for not keeping Stice on the farm.
Right.
Stice, after he's been gone for a few days, said he started to worry about eternal damnation from Yahweh. That's how deep this shit was in his head. And after 7 days, he voluntarily returns to the farm.
Unbelievable.
He returns there. I get that you have nothing else.
Yeah.
I understand. Your wife's dead. Your kids are there. That's the other thing. Your kids are there.
You got 2 left.
You got 2 fucking kids left there. And what is happening to them? Who knows? Are they being tortured for my indiscretions? Right. I don't know what's going through this man's mind because I don't know, especially after all the trauma you've gone through. I don't even know how you could have a human thought process at this point with this poor guy. He's finally returns, like we said, 7 days, and Ryan had Stice and Thim both kept chained to the porch trailer now. So now they're both out there like they're a couple of guard dogs, basically, is how he treated them. April 4th, 1985, Rick Stice escapes again. Yes, Timothy Haverkamp had taken Stice into town to do something. Ryan had told them to go, and I think Stice had a Social Security check he wanted to cash for the kids, and that's where the check was coming from. So he goes into town and does it, and Stice escapes, slips away in town, and he didn't return to the farm at all. Now he's gone. He ran away from the fucking farm. Okay. He doesn't contact authorities.
What are you doing?
He doesn't do shit. Okay. That's April 4th. Not a word from him to anybody until June 26th. So almost 3 months go by. Now, after this ends up happening, he leaves. They treat James Thim even worse because now it's his fault, and now there was 2 people to abuse. Now there's only 1 slave, so they abuse him. The kid's dead. Stice is gone. I guess we're abusing James Thim now. So Thim was forced, like we said, to sleep chained on the porch. He was fed small birds that the guys would shoot.
Oh, that's gross.
They just throw him birds and be like, there, eat that. Like just a fucking bird. And also forced to repeatedly have sex with the goat for, I don't know, some sort of entertainment. I don't know if the cable's out.
That?
Cable's out. Have him fuck that goat again, I guess, because we need some form of entertainment. Wow.
How do you even... God bless you, Thim. How do you even get hard? How do you even...
Wow. I guess the threat of death.
I guess.
April 27th, 1985, Thim is accused of poisoning a turkey.
What?
Okay. Accused of poisoning a turkey. He's beaten by the men for this and taken to the Hog Confinement Building.
Oh, Jesus.
Where he's kept chained for the night.
That sounds like a terrible place.
Yeah, I would say so. Now, at this point, the men here are Dennis Ryan, Timothy Haverkamp, James Haverkamp, John David Andreas, and James Thim, obviously.
His own friend. Andreas is involved.
That brought him in here. Those are the guys on the farm. The other adult women were Ruth Ryan, Cheryl Gibson, Lisa Haverkamp, the queens, and then there was 9 young children now, obviously, because one of them is dead. Now, April. By the way, the Lisa Haverkamp was 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
So that Ryan took a teenage bride here. So there's that. Let's not discount the fact that he was
a vile human being.
Yeah. Now, at this point, April 28th, 1985, Ryan sends Andreas out to the Hog Confinement Pen to give Thim a bowl of granola cereal. Now, Ryan told the men that during breakfast, he told him, he went in there, delivered the granola, he comes back, all the men are having breakfast. Ryan says during breakfast that, quote, Yahweh would be pleased if Thim lasted 4 or 5 days. Okay? So at about now mid-morning, Ryan and all the adult men go to the Hog Confinement Building, and Ryan tells Thim to take all of his clothes off and bend over a crate. This is obviously not going to be good.
Instruction.
This is the next couple of minutes are going to be horrible. Okay. So just so we know here, Ryan tells James Thim that he is going to be sexually assaulted with a shovel handle.
Oh, my God, that's so big.
He then inserts the shovel handle.
Oh, sweet Pete.
He greased it up with, farm grease first,
Yuck,
by the way.
Reached under the fucking, under the John Deere.
He put the shovel handle into a grease cartridge, which would be the same thing. And he told the men that James Thim had not done a good enough job with the goat, and that Yahweh wanted Thim to be, quote, probed.
Oh, boy.
So Michael Wayne Ryan inserts the shovel handle about 6 inches into James Thim and, quote, probed him for 30 seconds. He said Thim would not stop fidgeting, so...
because he's got a fucking shovel handle up his ass. Jesus.
So Ryan tied Thim's arms to the crate with baling wire. So now he's tied in this bent-over position. So then... Ryan tells the rest of the men that Yahweh he got another transmission from Yahweh just now.
Yeah.
And seriously, he's like, Yahweh just told me
Yahweh just said, breaker, breaker. Everybody sit tight.
All of these things are new, Yahweh just said we should do this too. And they're like, okay, tie him up then, do it. So he tells them that Yahweh said that he wanted the handle wasn't in far enough. Yahweh said, you're not doing it right. He wants it inserted between 8 and 10 inches, and Wow. And gives the order for a guy to do that. A tape measure was used, and the shovel handle was marked.
They had to be exact.
They had to be exact because Yahweh is quite discerning.
He's a stickler.
He's a stickler. Okay.
Oh, my God.
This gets worse. This gets way worse, Jimmy. This isn't the bad part.
Okay.
While the handle is inserted in him, he told them, I ought to shove this thing up to your heart. Wow. It is later on.
They don't understand anatomy? Like, that's not how that works.
No, it was later on found out that the shovel handle was inserted some 2 feet into them.
Oh, my God.
Later on, we find that out. Each of the remaining 4 men in the group took turns probing him, quote, with the shovel handle.
That's just jerking it out and putting it back in.
Yep. After Thim screamed a couple of times, out of extreme pain, Ryan kicked him in the head and had one of the men put duct tape over his mouth so that they wouldn't have to hear him. A pain in the ass when people cry when you're doing that.
James.
So, yeah. So I'm sorry.
I know you didn't mean to.
No, I actually didn't. That's the sad part.
Right.
So that's the sad part. I'm embarrassed about
this.
This
poor fucking guy.
Now, after he's done with the shovel handle, Ryan instructs them to then sign his car title over to Timothy Haverkamp. So Thim is not in a position to argue at this moment in time. He does so. And then Ryan told Tim Haverkamp that Thim's car was his birthday present. Said, "Happy birthday, Tim!"
Right in front of him.
Yeah, you're getting his car. So now then after that, each man again takes turns probing Thim again.
Christ.
During the second round of probing, his rectal wall was ruptured.
Yeah,
which is horrific.
That's a terrible thing to have ruptured, I imagine.
Yeah, so then Ryan decided that the handle was being inserted in too far, and then instead of this, they needed an object that was bigger around. See, we've done the length, but
we
the
need
width.
Girth.
So then he greased up, Jesus Christ, Michael Ryan greases up the fat end of a pick handle and inserts it into his rectum 3 inches.
Okay.
The men then do some chores. And
was that just hanging out?
They say, well, we did that for a while. We're bored.
Oh, my God.
I guess, Murder, She Wrote's on.
Yeah.
I don't know. The men then do some chores, and they leave him chained up in the shed like this, okay? That afternoon, Ryan tells the men that Thim had not been punished enough, which I think that's punishment enough for pretty much anything that you do. I can't think of a crime that's not punishment enough what just happened.
That's enough.
Yeah, if there was a guy who was fucking kids and you said that's the punishment, I'd go, that seems like that'll learn
reasonable.
You. I mean,
bet he won't do it again.
If he does that again, he really has a fucking problem. I mean, that's wow. So, I mean, obviously we know that's never mind.
All he said was Yahweh doesn't exist, but go on.
So they return to the building. Thim is removed from the firing crate, and now he's bound to an overhead auger, like Lethal Weapon style, like when they have Mel Gibson chained up back in the day there. Each of the 5 men then give Thim 15 lashes each with a leather whip. Ryan began the whipping, and with each lash, one of the cult members' names was called out. During the whipping, Thim says, he's screaming out, quote, "I'm sorry, Yahweh, please forgive me for what I've done. Please stop this." Where Ryan then said, well, you don't need to worry about that because Yahweh's given up on you. You don't have any hope anymore. That's what he's telling this poor man. So after this whipping, Thim is untied and given a sleeping bag and chained up in the hog confinement pen for the night. But he's taken down and given a sleeping bag. Yeah. During breakfast the next morning, April 29th, 1985, Ryan tells the men that Thim still has not been punished enough.
Well, Ryan, I'm so glad that you can talk to Yahweh.
Fuck, man.
Thank God you're our vessel.
They return to the hog confinement building, and Thim is again tied overhead to an overhead auger. Then they give him again 15 lashes each. After Thim receives 75 lashes, which is horrific.
Oh, my God.
After that, Ryan looked at everyone and said, still not good enough. Yahweh is not satisfied.
This Yahweh has a thirst for fucking violence.
He's a bloodthirsty son of a bitch.
My Christ.
Not enough punishment. He's forced to lie on his back that they just whipped 75 times onto the dirty floor.
Ouch.
He's then bound to a pipe and each of the men lashed his chest and stomach 15 times.
Oh,
Let's get the other side involved here. So that's 75 on the back, 75 on the front. Then Ryan had Thim's left hand placed and bound palm up on a block of wood.
Oh, no.
Thim begins to moan, and he's crying out, obviously. Yeah. Ryan tells him that things would only get worse if he doesn't shut up. This is the sickest fucking shit ever. Then Ryan shoots off one of Thim's fingertips with a pistol. Then he instructs each of the men to shoot off one of Thim's remaining left-hand fingers and thumb each.
Oh, my God.
So the men had shot off.
How much worse can it get? Start screaming,
it gets worse.
bro.
It gets worse. This isn't the bad part.
Oh, Jesus.
They shot off his fingers and left him there bleeding with his fingertips shot off. Then they returned to the North Trailer and had lunch.
Yeah.
Murder steak.
Yeah.
At that lunch, Ryan told everyone that Yahweh just told him. The turkey really got the Yahweh.
Those tryptophans really got me talking to Yahweh.
It gets the Yahweh train moving because otherwise the signals get crossed sometimes when I'm hungry, so I got to stay up on it.
Poultry is good for it.
It's good for it. He tells the men that Yahweh wanted Thim dead by that afternoon. He's like, Yahweh said that's enough now. So the men return to the hog shed. Ryan tells Andreas to go over to the field to prepare an area to bury Thim, and told Andreas he should go say goodbye to his friend James Thim. That's your buddy. We're going to kill him, so go say goodbye. Then when you're done, go prep the fucking hole. Andreas went in and said goodbye, and he said Thim was still alive at that point, and he was able to say that he was sorry. He could still speak, and he was saying he was sorry. So then Michael Wayne Ryan kicks and breaks Thim's arm, a little more pain, and tells him that he's going, this point, breaks his arm. Then he sits Thim up and tells him, we're going to skin part of you.
Oh, my God. What? Why?
Ryan puts on a yellow pair of kitchen gloves that you would use to wash dishes, and takes a razor blade and makes incisions all over Thim's leg.
Oh, my God.
Then, Jesus, this is the part that got me. I had to take a break here. He uses a pair of pliers to pull off large strips of his skin while he's still alive.
Sweet Christ.
He is skinning this man alive now.
Why?
After he shot off his fingertips, broke his bones, sodomized him, broke his rectal wall.
I'll say it. Yahweh's a cunt. This is crazy.
Wow. This is fucking insane. He's still alive. Ryan then tells Dennis Ryan, his son, that he could break one of Thim's legs. Why don't you go ahead and break one of his legs? Yeah. Dennis took a rough-cut 2x4 board that's 7 feet long and strikes Thim's leg in the knee area until he broke his leg. Repeatedly beat his leg till it broke. Then he tells Dennis Ryan and Timothy Haverkamp that there was an easier way to break a leg. He's like, you guys are going about this the wrong way. Like, you're just beating away. He said, this is what you do. You place a block of wood under his leg, and then he tells Haverkamp to hit his leg with the 2x4, and Tim Haverkamp hit it, and it broke on the first hit this time.
I told you.
Now, both his legs are broken. You guys.
Oh, my God. He's still alive.
He's still alive. At this point, Ryan bends down and asks Thim if he thought Yahweh meant business. At this point, Thim should have probably said, Yahweh's a bitch-ass motherfucker. Fuck him. I'll fuck Yahweh in his face. He should have just said, fuck it, because obviously this isn't going to end. So then he said, Ryan tells him, quote, he says out loud, not to Thim, quote, I'll cave his chest in. That's sure to kill him. They've been trying to kill him in basic ways, like, he's still not dead. Wow, that's
Skinning
crazy.
a leg didn't kill somebody? Wow, I'm blown away.
So then Ryan proceeds to stomp on Thim's chest with his cowboy boots until he dies. That's the way he kills him.
You have a gun, man.
Yep, but nope. He.
Oh, Jesus.
Ryan said that he then had James Haverkamp go get Thim's sleeping bag. Timothy Haverkamp says that Thim was dead before James returned with the sleeping bag. Ryan put Thim's body and his clothing into the sleeping bag. 3 or 4 hours later, he told the men that Yahweh wanted the grave to be 6 foot long by 3 foot wide and 6 feet deep. And that's what they needed to dig. Yahweh just told me. Yeah. He's got stats.
He's really good at this.
He's really into precise measurements and inches. Really into that. Thim's body was placed in this grave.
He's American for sure, that Yahweh, because inches is he's a stickler.
That's
there.
the thing. He's not talking about meters or none of that shit. Right. No centimeters, nothing. It's inches. He's American, obviously. Clearly. Yahweh's he gave the Bill of Rights to the founding fathers, Jimmy. Jesus Christ. What do you catch up on the Yahweh?
All right.
Then he also told Timothy Haverkamp to shoot Thim's body in the head so it would look like an execution. Make sure it looks good.
It looks like one right now, guys.
Yeah,
it looks like a torture execution.
That's what I mean. This is not an execution. No. Nobody took him out and take out. Hey, Johnny's been stealing, skimming off the top, put a 22 behind his head. Right. This is torture. This is obviously not that.
Johnny's been skimming off the top. Crush his legs.
Skin
one of them.
Does he have a shovel or a pickaxe handle handy? Does he need one of those?
You got cowboy boots?
Where's your nearest goat? First of all, because you're going to need one of those. So. After he shoots him in the head, he covers him with dirt. An autopsy that was conducted on him later on says these are the following injuries is what he had. His anus was markedly dilated. Yeah. Left hand's fingertips had gunshot-type injuries. Left arm was broken. Both legs were fractured at the thigh level. The head had a gunshot wound, which shot had shattered the left side of the skull. There were multiple rib fractures on both the left and right sides of his chest and back. Blunt objects had been inserted so far up into the body cavity through the anus, causing damage to the liver. Colon was torn. Linear bruises were on the body, and skin had been stripped from one of the legs. Victim's wrists and ankles were still bound with baling wire when they found him. Holy shit. Also, by the way, there is a disagreement between two different pathologists that looked over it. Their disagreement is whether the victim Thim in this case, whether his penis had been cut off or had simply decomposed. They weren't sure.
Either way, it's not there anymore.
Not positive.
Right.
They said the cause of death was multiple traumatic injuries. They both said, take your fucking pick.
Yeah.
They testified that later on that the tear in the colon, the whipping-like injuries, the gunshot wound to the head, shock from the broken legs, crushed chest were all capable of causing the death independently.
Jesus.
So take your pick. Who the fuck knows? Shake it up and roll it.
You can die from a leg injury like that.
I guess you have no skin.
Yeah.
He could cut a artery too. And that's
fuck, man.
So June 25th, 1985, James Haverkamp and Andreas are arrested by the police while attempting to return to town to the farm with a sprayer rig that they stole in Kansas.
Oh, okay.
While they are in jail, they give law enforcement information about the farm and about everything that allows them to secure a search warrant.
Yeah.
It's at this point, June 26th, like I said, is when they talk to Rick Stice also. Yeah. Once that comes out, and he's got some tales to tell, and they killed my kid and everything else, and they're like, oh, holy shit. So they get a team of people from the FBI, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, Nebraska State Patrol officers.
And they burn that motherfucker down.
Richardson County Sheriff's personnel. Right. You fucking name it. And they also bring in James Haverkamp and Andreas to tell them where shit is. And they search the farm on August 17th and 18th, 1995. On August 18th, 1995, they find James Thim's nude, partially decomposed body. They also find the shallow grave of Luke Stice. They confiscate 150,000 rounds of ammunition.
My Christ.
30 semi-automatic rifles, 15 fully automatic machine guns.
What?
More than a dozen pistols, and $250,000 worth of stolen farm machinery.
That's where that money came from.
Yep, including motorcycles, a backhoe, and other machinery, all which have been reported stolen by farmers in a 100-mile radius. Yeah. So, September 25th, 1985, Ryan is charged with Thim's murder, thankfully. At trial here, there's the Jesus Christ, man. He tried to plead guilty by insanity. Yeah. He tried a bunch of different shit. At the trial, his attorney tried to convince the jury that they were all insane. Yeah. Everyone at that fucking farm is insane. I agree. It's hard to convince a jury that one guy's insane. Yeah. 20 people, they all happen to be insane. Right. He says, quote, they marched to the drum of Yahweh. They didn't think in terms of violating the law. These people were not playing with a full deck. No shit.
Yeah.
Playing with a full deck and not criminally responsible are not the same thing. They're way different. So They have all sorts of facts that tie all the 5 men involved in the murder: James Haverkamp, Timothy Haverkamp, John David Andreas, Dennis Ryan, and Michael Wayne Ryan. They all testify. Also, everyone does, including Michael Wayne Ryan, testify. A guy like this has to talk shit.
Oh, God, he's so proud.
He has to. Yeah, he's proud of this. I'm surprised he didn't act as his own attorney, honestly. I really am. This is the type of guy
Yeah, that's
who
the guy
goes,
that does it.
I got this.
I don't need you.
It's only because he wouldn't want his followers to see him as subservient to this some
Needing
Jew lawyer here.
right.
Yeah, that's what it is here.
Some state-funded Jew.
See, Jew lawyer funded by illegally obtained tax dollars.
Right.
So, yes, so they're all there. They testify to the specific instances of probing, whipping, shooting, kicking, and beating. It's funny. They all agree on the facts. No one has any varying of the facts.
No. Then we
stuck it up. Did you mention the pickaxe handle? Because it was wider, because we took that in there, too.
8 inches deep, 7 inches girth.
We did grease it. You got to say that.
Don't forget the John Deere grease.
Yeah, Haverkamp at the hearing, he shifted the blame to Michael Ryan, obviously, during his hearing. Right. He said, quote, "I don't think anybody could have foreseen what happened here. Once you're in that environment, it becomes like a psychological trap. You can't get away from that influence." Well, you and the other 4 guys can say, let's fuck him up.
Right.
You can do that.
Or you can say, how about let's not fucking do that?
Anybody want to call the cops? Anybody?
Did he just say insert at 8 inches? Let's call the police instead.
Hey, I gotta take a leak quick. I'll be back in a minute. And then you run from the farm. So
find one of those rotary phones.
Yeah, he testifies, Michael Wayne Ryan, and he doesn't deny anything. He doesn't deny. He says that what everybody else said was pretty much true.
Yeah.
He just says that he said that James Haverkamp, though, was the instigator of most of the thefts, and that that he didn't force Andreas to go to the farm, and also that
steal shit. No, no. That's
Roger.
Listen,
I'll skin a man alive.
I'm a decent human being. Rape him? Fuck yeah, I'll rape him. Steal shit? No, sir.
I will have men fuck a goat. Now, I'll do that.
Right.
I'll kill a small child.
I didn't rape a goat.
But I didn't rape a goat.
No.
See, there's a difference.
See, I saw a man.
So,
he paid his penance for raping that goat. Y'all ever taken a pickaxe up the ass?
I know someone who has. So he says his other contention.
But steal shit, no.
No. Now, the other contention was also that he was very upset that they were claiming that Andreas and Thim were best friends. He's like, they were not best friends. Okay? That shit doesn't matter.
Did you fucking kill a man? Who cares if they're best friends?
He also says that I didn't always lead Bible study. So that's full. That's like any of this fucking matters. You skinned a man alive and killed a child.
The line in the sand that he's drawing.
He also says that Cheryl Gibson testified against. Everybody testified against him. Yeah. He says that she only testified against him because she was threatened by the FBI, and that was it. And that Michael Wayne Ryan was tired of people on the farm, and that he wanted to leave, and that Lisa Haverkamp had more power over the defendant. They're all shifting blame. Yeah. Cheryl's like, look, I wanted to leave. Lisa was the one with the control over him, so I couldn't control when he wanted to skin a guy alive. That's not my problem. Right. They're all trying to minimize their roles here. They said that Rick Stice, Michael Wayne Ryan said that Rick Stice was responsible for the abuse of his son Luke, and it wasn't Michael Wayne Ryan's idea for Stice and Thim to have homosexual relations, and that the defendant, Ryan said that he tried to stop their homosexual activity, saying Yahweh's not cool with this, guys. And he said they were just fucking like crazy. He couldn't get them to stop. Stop 69ing for 5 seconds because fucking Yahweh is not all right with this.
I'm trying to punish you if you would get his penis out your mouth.
And then they would bring up like, okay, that has nothing to do with what we're talking. That's all great. Let's say we believe all of that. Yeah. You still fucking tortured and killed a guy, which was kind of what we're here to discuss.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's like they're the mediator of like a bad divorce, and the girl's like, you fucking, I saw you hitting on that waitress. And the guy's like, yeah, but I fucking hate your mom. And they're like, listen, you guys don't like each other. We're just trying to divorce you.
You're talking about different things.
Why are you guys doing this?
Well, that's not even the stupidest thing he said. He also says, he testifies in a court of law that Yahweh, not him, had Thim chained up in the shed. Okay. He said, that wasn't me. Yahweh told everybody to do that. I can't be responsible for what God tells people to do. I'm only a man. He also says that Thim agreed to his torture. He wanted that torture, and that Ryan did not kick Thim in the head. That was the other thing. I didn't kick him in the head. I did all the other shit. That didn't happen. He also said that Yahweh would not allow the group to drive Thim off the farm, that Timothy Haverkamp tore Thim open while probing him, and that Ryan did not stomp on his chest with his boots, even though that they found it was obvious he stomped his chest with his boots. And Andreas and Haverkamp stomped on Thim's chest together. And that Thim was not breathing after this, and that Ryan told the group to leave Thim alone, and that Haverkamp had the idea to shoot his fingers off. So he just said, hey, you know what? We were spitballing.
Right. Listen, I had some ideas.
Listen,
he had some ideas.
We're brainstorming.
Right.
You know how it goes when you're brainstorming. Yeah. An idea comes up, and once you really work it out, you don't even remember whose idea it was, because now it's everybody's.
Now collective.
It belongs to all of us now. That's
right.
the beauty about working with a group.
And then you can patent the idea.
That's how it works.
And that's how John Deere was formed. Yeah, but there's a dead guy still, right? Yeah.
Still, a tortured dead guy.
Let me tell you about
He's missing skin and dicks and shit. It's not great. So this is all everyone else's fault. He's clearly a victim, this Michael Wayne Ryan. He also said that everyone came to the farm on their own free will and that he never intended to kill Thim. This was absolutely ridiculous. Counsel for the state asked Dennis Ryan, his son, he said, quote, as to Michael Ryan's involvement in the death of James Thim, what did Michael Ryan tell you to do in your testimony? He said, what did he say to lie about? Was Dennis's question. And the state counselor said, yes. Dennis Ryan said, quote, he said not to tell about that he was one of the... He said not to tell about that he was the one that was doing the stomping, doing the chest and stuff, and that Jimmy and Dave did that. Just a few different things like that. Just the details that he said that he lied about,
the part that he said he didn't do, that's what he did.
Yeah, he said, counselor then said, correct me if I'm wrong. Basically what it is Michael Ryan told you not to testify about certain things he had done. Is that correct? And Ryan said, yes, to blame it on someone else. Yes.
Well, that worked out.
He said, the counselor said, did he ever explain to you why he wanted to do this? Dennis Ryan said, yes, because he said he didn't want to get the electric chair, which is that means right from wrong when you're trying to plan shit. So, Jesus Christ, man.
He picked the wrong dummy. That's what he just did.
During this trial, a few things.
He's killed so many people. Like, why don't you just kill the people that know everything you've done?
Especially
the dummy that goes, he told me not to tell you.
He said not to tell the thing I'm telling right now.
All the shit I'm telling you? He said don't do that.
All that stuff, bad news. Now, there's some different things.
I wanted to see his face.
Don't you know?
I
know. Son of a big stupid beard.
He's going, fucking Yahweh's going to get you.
Some things come up that the judge says to Michael Ryan's attorney that he's going to bring up later on. And these are fucking funny, actually. He states during the cross-examination of Richard Stice, because Ryan's attorney is cross-examining Richard Stice, the judge states, quote, who gives a damn whether he was a high priest or not, for God's sakes? The other counsel went at him for 45 minutes on the high priest deal. Are you going on for another 45 minutes? That's enough of the high priest business, okay? So that's pretty fucking funny.
I've heard enough. The high priest.
Of this horse shit. Then during the same cross-examination, the judge said, Stice is making, he says to the attorney, Mr. Ligori, Stice is making you look like a fool and the state is not going to bail you out. So just consider that when you keep going and going and going. He's like, you're just dry well. You keep digging, asshole. Then he says during the cross-examination, the judge said to the attorneys, I don't mean to laugh. I've got to apologize first off because some of the shit was so crazy about the relationships. So there was that. So he said this is inappropriate. And then also when the trial counsel, when Ryan's counsel was trying to introduce evidence of audio tapes of speeches by James Wickstrom, the judge said, quote, aren't you afraid that if you lock the jury with all those tapes, they'll come out seeing things and stuff? So... basically, these people are all fucking wacky.
This judge is the fucking best.
He's like, this is ridiculous, man. You fucking killed people. Yeah, let's go through the sham of this trial and get you to the electric chair.
Throw the motions. But 45 minutes of the high priest, we got it.
Shit.
Just move on.
Move on.
He's not going free.
Fuck it. April 10th, 86 is the verdict.
Yeah.
Shockingly, here, as you might imagine, he is guilty of first-degree murder. Wow, shocking.
Just one?
April 28th, 1986, the sentencing hearing. Well, he pleads no contest for Luke, which is weird. And then but on this one, he had to go the distance.
Yeah.
Weird. I think it's a weird.
Clear Yahweh's name.
Yeah, exactly. Because that one, I think, they wanted to get that out of the way, so I think they gave him some kind of. I don't know exactly how it worked because that wasn't in the documents.
The proof probably was a little more
That's
tough.
That's the thing.
There.
It's shakier proof than this, which is like we all witnessed skinning.
Right.
So. Jesus Christ. There's a thing that comes up after the sentencing here. By the way, on October 16th, 1986, Timothy Haverkamp is sentenced to 10 years to life in prison for all the crazy shit he did, which seems a light sentence.
Yeah, that seems a bit generous. Is that the word?
I would say so. Yeah. There's something that's going to come up with on appeal here. It's during the sentencing, August 28th, 1986, which is during the sentencing. Judge Finn meets with members of the Stice family in the courthouse. Now, part of the time the prosecuting attorney was present, basically the Stice family wanted to know why the Thim murder trial came before the resolution of the Stice murder charge since since Luke died before Thim. Mm-hmm. And they also had a question in regard to the no contest plea bargain that Ryan had entered into with the state regarding the death of Stice.
Got it.
So it's that sort of thing. And the judge was talking to them, which is sort of inappropriate. And we'll find out later on about that. But doesn't matter because on that date in 1986, the judge is looking over this dipshit, and I'm sure it must have felt good for him to say, "You, sir, may fuck off." Sentenced to death, electric chair with this asshole.
He got the chair.
He gets the chair. He's sentenced to death by Robert T. Finn. So that's that. November 1986, Rick Stice is out there in the world, man. Yeah. This guy has lived through some problems. Yeah. He's had a lot of issues.
He's seen some terrible things.
He is 26 years old.
Oh, my God.
He's been through...
I didn't even think about that.
That's what I mean. Most people are, they're not dealing with shit like this. Yeah. They're doing whatever.
Where are his other two kids?
There's an article about him, and we'll talk about that. Okay. There's an article where he's like, some people his age have just gotten out of graduate school. They're trying to work their way up a corporate ladder or whatever. This guy, no. They said that he's just a fucking mess. They said in this article that he remains an enigma. They said people aren't sympathetic for him at all.
Really?
And one relative said, quote, "People here in Rulo don't want to have anything to do with Rick. They can't help thinking that he should have taken a bullet himself instead of letting his own boy die." Garnetta Buttrick, the mother-in-law there, the Mama Buttrick, said, quote, "This has been just horrible. I don't feel right about Rick. I just can't because of what happened on that farm. But you can understand how he needs to put this behind him, too. He lost everything. He lost his farm, he lost his wife, he lost his son, and the rest of his family, too, because they end up going to live with relatives."
Got it.
So, August of 1989, there's appeals. The Supreme Court is considering 60 assignments of error that Ryan has put forth.
My goodness.
Starting out with the sentencing talk with the family. There's so many different things here. They deny all of them, obviously. There's a couple that are like, some merit on this one, but not enough to make it matter. February 15th, 1990, Nebraska Supreme Court denies his motion for a rehearing. October 1st, 1990, the United States Supreme Court denies his petition to be seen in front of them. So it's getting scary now. October 19th, 1990, Ryan files a motion for post-conviction relief with the District Court of Richardson County. This is denied also.
Good.
July 21st, 1995. It's around this time that there's a stay of execution because they're going to do post-conviction relief. So there's a stay. Okay. And the stay is to do the post-conviction because he's scheduled to be executed in 95. And then so there's a stay instead to do the rehearings. And this stay ends up lasting for years, as we'll talk about. September 27th, 95, the Nebraska Supreme Court denies his motion for a rehearing. He is weeks away from death, but gets the stay, like I said, based on a habeas corpus proceeding that has all sorts of crazy shit in it. This guy had some time in prison, and instead of rewriting the Bible, he was rewriting everything on this. I could go through it, but it's not even worth it, honestly, to go through all this shit. It ends up being, he said that it's all legal bullshit, and he ends up being denied, all through 1996, October 18th, October 29th, October 31st, he finally withdraws his petition. Ryan does.
He yanked it on his own.
This particular petition because it was going nowhere. Okay. So November 21st, 2001, this is habeas shit again. The judge on his own motion, Ryan's own motion, directs that Ryan shall be transported to the Federal Medical Center in Springfield, Missouri to undergo comprehensive psychiatric examination to determine his competency to proceed on his own behalf or to waive any claims he may have in the habeas proceeding. So he's trying to say, let's find out if I'm crazy. Maybe I haven't tapped that one yet. Right. Let's try that. There's an appeal there, and they end up doing it anyway. They take him in. Obviously, he's crazy as shit, but it doesn't matter here. The judge clarifies a memorandum, and it's such legal bullshit. Anyway, doesn't matter. All the competency things come to the judge's recommendation. He says, as a preliminary matter, the judge finds that Ryan is and has been competent during these proceedings. He also finds that Ryan was competent at the time of the trial and cannot demonstrate prejudice to excuse his procedural default regarding his competency claims. He tried to be retroactively incompetent, and that doesn't work. You can't say you were crazy 10 years ago.
I'm
now.
Good now, but I used to be really fucking nuts.
I was so crazy back then. I was so crazy I didn't realize it enough to tell everyone that I was crazy.
Isn't it crazy to make a man suck his own kid's dick? Isn't that crazy? I think that's crazy.
His issues here in his appeals are that it's alleged that during much of Ryan's testimony, he said the judge turned his back to him. I guess that's a signal to the jury that it doesn't matter.
You either, sir.
Yeah, who the fuck wants to look at this guy? He also says that the judge had ex parte communications with the family, which we talked about here. Said that the judge participated in another violation with the family. He says he had ineffective assistance of counsel. Obviously, that's what the only way you can go to here. He said that the judge abused his discretion and in failing to convene in a 3-judge sentencing panel. So he says his right to due process was ruined. Basically, he is just every nitpicky thing you could do, which is what you do if you're facing the electric chair. But they end up telling him to eat dicks or fuck goats or whatever you want to, however you want to put it. Basically, they say no thanks. They say his counsel argued that he had sincerely held and still held fanatical religious beliefs, and those strange notions, like God speaking directly to him, controlled Ryan's every legal decision, not just before that, during the trial, up to and including the legal strategy being pursued in the case. Thus, for example, it is incomprehensible how he could have made a rational decision whether to testify or not, or rationally make other trial decisions. If he thought, as his own counsel and everybody else believed, he thought that Yahweh was dictating everything he did. So they're saying he thought Yahweh. He's crazy. You know what? You skinned a man alive, killed a child, did all sorts of shit.
Here's the other thing. Yahweh probably believes an eye for an eye, so we kill you the same way you killed him.
Exactly. The judge ends up saying, quote, one can be both odd and evil, but not crazy or incompetent, which is the thing that sums up this whole fucking case. And if that wasn't so long, that would be the title of this show. That would be the title of this episode here. They said also that he seemed to act quite rationally and really deceitful and tried to blame others and had everything pretty well organized here. The psychiatrists testify in different hearings saying that delusional disorder, grandiose type of thing. They said one doctor calls him a paranoid schizophrenic, but then all the other doctors say he's not a paranoid schizophrenic. And a paranoid schizophrenic is kind of the one thing that might get you off on some shit, because that means you're dissociating, you're delusional and shit like that. He says that this doctor said that his religious belief was, quote, extremely concrete and narrow view practiced by a few individuals and their interpretation of the Bible and how the Bible should direct one's lives. And that made him crazy.
The problem is that paranoid schizophrenic does not have the organization that this guy has.
This is very organized.
There's too much organization.
Yeah, this is excessively organized here. They end up saying, fuck you. By the way, sentencing for Dennis Ryan, his son, who was in charge of this. He was a juvenile at the time of his sentencing, by the way. He's convicted by the jury of second-degree murder and was originally sentenced to life in prison. The same day, the judge met with more members of the family, like we said, and then they ended up sentencing the father, Michael. Now, the judge spoke with, this is so weird, with Ruth Ryan, who should be in jail also, I would think here. He said that the family members discussed about Dennis's case, the high cost of lawyer fees associated with various trials, and the judge view that they were excessive. Michael Ryan's power over the cult members. They discussed that Thim had not been raised to believe in the kind of things practiced by the cult, why more cult members were not charged, why more had not been done to protect the Stice child, that the Judge Finn thought that none of the defendants seemed truly sorry for their actions. Judge Finn's view that a life sentence usually meant that the defendant served about 14 or 15 years before becoming eligible for parole, and that someone should write a book about the case, and that Judge Finn offered to make the record public so it's available to one of the family members if she decided to write about the book. So that's another. They're bringing up his talking to the family again.
So
that's what they're saying.
Said, if you want to make a profit off this, I'm fine with it. I'll make it unsealed documents.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
And he has a problem with that?
He has a problem with that. So July 28th, 86 is when Ryan pleads no contest, second-degree murder, and he's sentenced to life in prison for the crime. 1999, tons more habeas shit, all told to eat dicks, like we said. 2003, the 8-year stay of execution is lifted by the U.S. District Court, who said, quote, this guy's great, U.S. District Judge Richard G. Kopp, who said, quote, there is not the slightest doubt that of the petitioner's guilt, the most horrendous torture and sickening murder imaginable. If any man deserves to be put to death, that man is Michael Ryan, which I think this is what this shit was made for.
Says a guy that's plugging in a chair.
Yeah. By the way, it is around that time where Nebraska 2009 switches from the electric chair to lethal injection. So they do that because, the thing doesn't fucking work half the time. We can't be doing that. By June.
Although, if there's a candidate that's to see if this shit works, this is our guy.
That's the guy. Yeah, let's try it. What do you say?
Give it a shot.
Just hook him up to a car
let's
battery.
Do the last one.
I don't know. Let's let Ryan Stice have a shot at him, I'd say.
Let's let it go out in style.
Let's do it.
Let's use it one last time.
June 2004, James Wickstrom, there's an article on him that he is just getting attacked constantly. Someone burned down a furniture store where he had been preaching. So,
not even his shit.
No,
he's been here.
He comes here, we'll burn your shit down. People are not taking this shit here.
He bought an ottoman here. Light it up.
Fuck it, light it up. So the sister of James Thim, she's against the death penalty here. She said, quote, if there's anyone that should die of the death penalty, it would be Michael Ryan, but I don't feel that we have the right to say who should live or die. Okay. She says, understandable. A Supreme Court judge said, quote, it is our Supreme Court state one said, quote, it is hard to conceive of a more senseless and brutal murder. We find that his death sentence is justified when compared to all other homicide cases. So he's good to die. Yeah. 2009, Tim Haverkamp is paroled.
What?
He's out on the street. He serves 23 years of 10 to life. He was called a model prisoner, entrusted to work at the governor's mansion. He's released on lifetime parole.
What did the governor have to say about that shit?
I don't know. Let's have this weirdo murderer here. November 27, 2013, Haverkamp asked the Nebraska Parole Board of Pardons to grant him a commutation hearing to be off lifetime parole.
What?
The board will consider his request. Doesn't have a good. The body has granted just 3 commutations for first-degree murder in the past 23 years. Not usually. May 21st, 2014, the Nebraska Board of Pardons voted unanimously to grant him a commutation. He will be released from lifetime state supervision.
What are they doing?
Summer of 2014. So he's out there wherever
Nebraska,
he wants to be.
Nebraska, you are idiots.
I would say so. One of the parole board members said, quote, you've really kind of come from the depths of hell in a cult relationship with a lot of real horror and violence to a life of great stability and great peace, it seems.
I don't care.
I don't give a fuck. You participated in some fucking horrific shit.
Horrible murder.
Horrific shit. So Michael Wayne Ryan is he's up there. He's waiting for death. He's waiting to be executed. He's supposed to be executed late 2015. May 25th, 2015, Michael Ryan dies on his own. Fucking dick. 5:45 p.m., he dies of metastatic carcinoma of parotid gland origin. It's salivary cancer.
Right? Yeah.
Salivary cancer. It's very, very rare, actually. It's
really?
like 1% of some. It's very rare.
That's awesome.
The one he had, super fucking rare.
You know what else is really rare? That you can talk to God. And you can do that
so
too.
It makes sense, man.
This is just amazing.
So he is dead. Now, like we said, the sister never wanted him to be to be killed in the first place, but she does say that this death means no more appeals, no more execution dates, and no more opening of old wounds. She said, quote, "This stops the trauma," which that's good. James Allen Thim was finally buried once he was pulled out of the ground. He is buried in Richardson County, Nebraska. He's buried in Beatrice, Nebraska, which is in Gage County at the First Mennonite Church Cemetery after a goddamn going out in a rough way.
My word.
Give yourself a pat on the back, and I don't know what to say about that. Yeah. Take a little extra glass of wine tonight, something like that. Smoke an extra joint after that case, because I need to, and I needed to. That was fucked up.
I'm just happy that the dude's other kids
got out.
His kids went to the family.
Yeah. I'd love to know what ended up happening to Stice and what his life became and how much. You'd be an alcoholic.
How shitty is that?
It'd be so bad.
The
whole
community just shuns him.
And then they shunned him. Leave. Get the fuck out of there. Nothing but bad memories, horrible shit. I would get the fuck far away from that place, man. Anyway, if you like that story, you are truly a sick bastard, but we love
really
you for it.
Yeah.
We love you, and if you did like that story, please do us a big favor. Get on iTunes and give us 5 stars and tell us all about it. It really, really helps us on the business end. Now, speaking of business end, if you want to help us out even more on the business end and keep this show a thing that we love to do and that you love to listen to, and you want to be one of our producers who we just want to hug and squeeze, you can do that very easily. We won't hug you if you don't want to be hugged, by the way.
I'm a great hugger, though.
We're good huggers over here, I'll say that. But you know what? We're probably not going to meet you. Maybe we will in the fall. Their tour, hint, hint.
Oh, where are you going to go?
I don't know. We'll find out. Oh, you'll never know. Well, you'll know at the end of the month. Anyway, please do that. You can go over to patreon.com/crimeinsports, and you can do a donation there, or go over to PayPal using our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com.
That's the one.
You can make donations there, or just go to shutupandgivememurder.com, and there's links to everything, all the merchandise, T-shirts, funny T-shirts, Cheer Up Bitch shirts are out now, which are very, very funny. Do all of that.
Popular.
They are popular. They're selling like crazy. So thank you guys for all that. Thank you guys for everything that you do for us. Thank you to the Drake's Corporation for their wonderful, wonderful products. But thanks no more to anybody. You can't thank anyone more than we're going to thank these people of this fine, fine list that you've composed. Jimmy, hit me with it now.
This week's executive producers are Devin, not David.
Right off the bat. Right out of the gate.
Name number one.
Wrong.
Devin Keeney. God damn it.
Wow, let's start that name over again. Let's give him his proper due, Jimmy. What do you say?
Devin Keeney, Savannah Briand or Bryand?
Well, either way, I think you covered it.
I got all of them.
We got them all.
Wendy Skenzel. Skenzel. Wendy and Savannah, thank you very much.
Guys. Thank everybody.
Happy birthday to Sandra in Sacramento. Timothy Palm. Louisa Merlino. That's what it is. Why do I have that? I don't know why that's so close up there. That's weird. Morgan Marsh, Heather Every. Slim Charles' nephew. I don't know who that is.
I love that guy on Twitter.
I don't know if that's for real.
Probably not, but he loves The Wire, and we talk a bunch of Wire shit all the time.
Real.
I like that dude on Twitter.
I want that to be real.
I would hope
so. I don't know the character, but if
he's great.
If he's really his nephew, that's cool.
Slim Charles, if it was an athlete, if it was a team, he's a great clubhouse guy.
Okay.
He's a team player, Slim Charles. He's just the best clubhouse guy you can get. He's like Black Kurt Rambis, this guy. He's tremendous.
Is he dead? Does he have big goggles?
Slim Charles? Yeah. No, he didn't. Slim Charles is a survivor. Okay. And Slim Charles knows which way to slide. Okay. And the heat's on.
William Jones, Jenny Catherine, Kelsey Hebert last week sent us dough, and she was DBA, by the way. And when I said DBA, I don't get what that is.
Oh, cool.
That was her.
Thank you so much.
It was a typo. It was an accident.
Sorry we missed you.
Whoops-a-daisy. Amy McNelly, Tracy DiMartini, Lino Lakes, or is it Lino Lakes? No, it was Lino, right?
It's fucking Lino. Trust me.
Lino Lakes Pronunciation Fund. That's who sent us some money.
That's great. That's wonderful.
Graham Luber, Kelly Jo Blair, Lauren Demarath in Chicago. Thank you.
Thank you.
Demarath. Oh, she's the gal that gave me breakfast after the show. Yeah. Lauren, thank you so much.
That's cool. Thank you.
Stacy Lenkto, Jeremy Ardone, Stephen Mace, Troy Huseby.
Hey.
Dean Chandler, Lee Bridger, Sarah Carter, Mike Lane, Oliver Watson, Stephanie Wheeler, Sarah Lawson, Mariah Menhir.
Oh, we love her over there.
Luke Young.
The best over there in Amsterdam.
That's where she's at.
Yes, Dutch.
I think so. She is Dutch.
She's
That's
our
right.
Dutch friend.
She's got
yes.
wooden shoes and shit.
Yeah.
Jesse Dodson, Amy Chamberlain. I think it's it's Chaberlain. Chaberlain? I don't know if there's an M. I don't know if I missed an M.
Did you just forget the M, or does it just? Okay.
I don't know.
We'll say it both ways.
I think it's Chamberlain.
All right, Chamberlain. Perfect.
Bilski in Omaha, Scott McDonald, Darren Mihal, Allison Blazek, Kyle Parks, Damon. Yes, Damon. I almost called him Damone. I don't know why I almost did that.
Damone.
Ashley Boxler ×2. Thank you very much this week, Ashley. That was nice of you.
Thank you.
Caitlin Mia, Clint Randall. Yeah, Clint Randall. James Asalta, fucking every week.
Dude, thank
James
you.
is full.
God, we're blown away, man.
Did
Thank
I say
you.
That? That was gross.
Yeah.
James is full.
Yeah, let's.
Thanks, James.
Wow. James, you're a hell of a guy, buddy.
I was going to say donate several times, but I've said that already, and I was trying to change it up.
That's amazing.
So I've got jammed full of James.
Jammed full.
Jessica.
That sounds bad, too. Well, leave me out of this, Jimmy.
Asalta. He jams us full. Asalta. Jessica Manor, Jesse Bastian, Kazumasu Takikawa. That's
wow, nice. I like that.
I
awesome.
fucking throttled that one. I can't
like
get Devin
Pietragallo,
Keeney.
Jesus.
Right. Francisco Bento, Dustin Coleman, Greg Kuima, yes. Molly Sunshine, Nathaniel Gamachi, Alexis Ohms, Amanda Petrovito, yeah.
Hey,
Petrovito.
hooray. How you doing?
Alexandra Dolezal, that's a brutal last name now,
Yeah,
isn't
that's
it?
a tough one.
That's a tough one to fucking run through the rest of your life with, Alexandra.
Sorry about that.
Sorry about your life. Sorry, you're dealing with a liar. Aaron,
not our problem.
Aaron Gerald, Natalie Ulvin.
Probably, yeah.
Yes, Natalie Ulvin.
Pamela and Natalie are going to be here tomorrow.
Nick Mahmoud, that's it. Mariella Rosas, Renee Wallen, Rain Wallen, that's it. Fucking with Jimmie. Yep. I deserve it.
You did it. Yeah, you got that.
Kaylin Simpson, Tom Day, Nick Judkins, Kristen Solasinski. Yes.
Hey,
Meg
that
Keene.
sounded pretty good.
I know. I nailed it. Meg Keene, Jake Labeer, Victoria Payne, Lauren O'Brien, Dean Chandler, Stephen Nash, Donna Leonard, Jessica Vallerine. Yes. Christine Campbell, Kiara Mitchell, Under the Sea Fabrics, Mike K. Fucking, I'm an idiot. Bonnie Milne, Meg Smith in Detroit. Thank you, Meg. Jero, or Yairo.
Yeah, probably Euro.
Yeah. Bonnie Milne, I said that.
Like
Julia Miller.
Guy.
Yeah, could be. Yeah. Paul Roost coming through again.
We
Thank you so
love
much,
Paul Roost.
Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Unbelievable work this week, Paul.
Yeah, man.
Your fucking
That's
memes
great.
were fantastic.
Lots of Probert to go on there.
Give your little guy a hug for us.
Yeah,
Richard
definitely.
Cauty. Renee Rath, yes. Kate Myers, Aaron Laporte Rader, Brandy Dunkel, Shitface McGee, Greg Zydonk, I think, yes. Tyler Gwill, Adam Thorpe, Jesse Hartman, Patrick Feta, Bitch. I don't know what that is.
Bye.
Triple E, bitch.
Bitch.
And Aubrey Kimball. Thank you guys so much for being so fantastic to us. We can't do it without you, and I can't understate that. You guys are fantastic. Thanks.
Those are the best people ever.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Honestly, man, every dime counts. Every dime is so appreciated by us, and we're blown away by it. We really are. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We really, really appreciate it. And what if one of these type of people out there who are just nice people, whether they're giving us money, not giving us money, giving us iTunes reviews, or just listening and enjoying, or listening and hating us, what if they wanted to tell you what kind of activity they're doing? How could they do that, Jimmy?
You can find me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. I appreciate you guys being here, following along, playing along, and calling me an asshole weekly. I appreciate it.
Definitely.
What about you?
I am at Jimmy P is funny. Find me there, or you can copy and paste my name from the show description so you don't hurt yourself trying to put vowels together in a long Italian last name. Either way, though, thank you folks so much for joining us. Like we said, we know it was a hard one in terms of content and just difficult graphic shit. But thank you for getting through it. Thank you for hanging with us. We'll get to something crazy next week. And until next week, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.